Check the audio real quick. Check the audio real quick. Okay, adjusted the fan off there. Okay. I think we are ready to start, travelers. Okay, so we have a very special bonus quest line here for you today. I neglected to do my duty and edit properly yesterday. So, have to have some content today. That's the rule. And since it's not going to be an edited episode, it is going to be a bonus stream. Now, itinerant travelers might be wondering, why are we just in first person staring at the Shaded Bower? Let's go ahead and take it out of first person. We are no longer an elf. So, couple things. One of the only bits of criticism I've gotten from the channel for the first part, really, has just been the use of AI. People aren't a big fan of it, right? And in general, I also kind of understand where they're coming from. It would be better to have something a little bit more tailor-made to the channel, right? It's good feedback. So, I thought about it. I was like, well, if I'm going to have a thumbnail, it doesn't really make sense to have, for example, my channel mascot, the little bear guy, and also an elf girl, because you can't really be both. So, what I've attempted to do here is recreate the channel mascot as a Hrothgar. There are no bear races, sadly, but this is a pretty fair approximation. I'm actually pretty happy with the way he turned out, to be honest. I Fantasia'd. This is the exact same character. I'll qualify that right now. Oh, excuse me. There's some spruce logs that need harvesting, which brings us to what we're actually doing this episode. I promise I didn't plan that. That was just very, very funny timing. At any rate, this is the exact same character, exact same levels. Everything is exactly the same. Obviously, I'm a little bit higher level on some of these things that I've been grinding in the background. We are just a bear now. My wife is very happy about it. He also looks, I mean, if I were a muscular, sexy cat man, he doesn't not look like me. Another thing we did, too, is that my wife came over here on one of her alts, and she was so excited because there were so many housing plots, and she's like, oh, I'll bid on a medium. I'm sure I won't get it. Of course, I'm not going to get it. So she got the medium. And she's now investing over here pretty heavily, which is why we now have an FC of our very own, which is why my thing is called Bears. So, if you are looking to find a free company or moving over to Cuchulainn, please feel free to join the Literary Dragons FC. Be available to any of my subscribers who want to join. All two of you. But, no, seriously, though, if you do want to join, the more the merrier. Be happy to chat, happy to party up with things. It'd be great. Okay, so, point of the channel, or point of the goal for this bonus stream, because we're not going to be on as long as a regular stream, I have gone ahead, we talked about this last time, I have gone ahead and harvested everything required for the actual turn-ins of the crafter, or sorry, not the crafters, I haven't gotten that far yet, but all of the gathering to level 50 questlines. So, we should be able just to blitz right through every single one of these, which is very cool. So we're going to be able to see a lot of the story without having to do a lot of the in-betweens. I think that's going to be really cool, and it also gives me a good way to introduce this new character. Now, I like the Hrothgar for a couple of reasons. Number one, cool cat man, right? But I like the emotes as well. For those of you who don't know, emotes are bespoke to the race. So they have different emotes based on who they are, and just different ways of walking as well. Obviously, ways of standing. It's not everything to be, you know, something analogous to yourself. But it is kind of nice that I've got a little cat guy who kind of looks like me a little bit. Certainly more so than a slender Elysian woman, which I'm very much not. I am none of those things. I am tall. That's about the only similarity. But here we go. We're starting with the miner. Oh, I don't know if I had this actually last time that you guys were here, but my macros are now slightly more functional. So when we swap, notice that little snap. Does it do anything? Absolutely not, but it is really cool. Let's talk to Adalberta. Ah, Ursa, I hear you passed the vice foreman's test. Well done. I never doubted that you'd manage it, but I'm proud of you all the same. Tell me, Deep Canyon have any words of advice for you by any chance? I see. In case you're wondering, the vice foreman used to be a miner himself. But more than that, he used to be my mentor. My father was a miner too, but died in a cave-in when I was but a child. The guild's been a home to me since, and its members my family. I grew up here watching this girl sing and dance on that very stage. I even joined them for a while. It seemed the best way to please my adopted family. Didn't want to become a miner back then, you see. After what happened to my father, I could scarcely face the thought of spending a moment underground. Never minded a lifetime, excuse me. Not that the stage suited me much better, which left what, exactly? Having been surrounded by miners for so long as I could remember, I began to wonder if I truly belonged among them. I even considered leaving. It was then that one of the guild's brightest and best took me by the hand and showed me the joys of mining. I speak, of course, of Deep Canyon. He taught me everything he knew, which was a great deal, and the more I learned of mining, the closer I felt to my father. I owe a lot to Deep Canyon, despite how things turned out. But I'm rambling. I meant to tell you that the man knows what he's talking about when it comes to mining, at least. Now, it's high time I taught you something. You're here to learn, after all. Concerns the vice foreman's advice to you. He speaks true. A miner who neglects his gear can't hope to work to his full potential. In the past, if you wanted to improve your gear, you had a little choice but to replace it. But these days, we have materia. By your confused expression, I take it you're not familiar with the stuff. Well, then, I reckon a lesson is in order. Simply put, materia is a kind of crystal that enhances the properties of equipment it's attached to. The attachment process is fairly simple, but that wasn't always the case. Time was you needed substances called catalysts. Digging the stuff up was formed a healthy part of a miner's workday. That is actually true. Fun fact. That was a thing in 1.0. It was apparently extremely hated. Also, another thing, you used to have to pay a gatherable, and only gatherable to my knowledge, resource to use aetherites. And I don't mean aetherites like the teleport aetherites. I mean like the ones in the city. So that was fun, I'm sure. Glad they took that out. Okay. Even though no one needed catalysts anymore, there's still educational merit in the gathering. To that end, I want you to try your hand at mining a variety of it. Namely, grade 1 carbonized matter. 15 fragments ought to do it. You'll have the best luck searching at the Devale checkpoint. Over in Middle Eorzea. Oh, well, you'll most definitely need your sledgehammer. So that's her indicating that the sledgehammer is the way that you go about harvesting that. Let's see. This is where we harvested this. Right here. Eastern Eorzea. I think what I actually did to make it easier on myself is I traveled to Swiftbirch. Came over here. Harvested some rock ones. 15 is not a very high number. That was an easy one. Probably one of the easiest ones we did all day. How goes your search for carbonized matter? Don't forget it's 15 fragments I want. Going great. Absolutely great! I can do that now. I'm a tiger. Aye, precisely 15 fragments of grade 1 carbonized matter. Well done, Ursa. Now, I expect you're keen to learn about materia. Well, the first thing I should tell you is that it's been around for long, in Eorzea at least. Not been around for long. Knowledge of it's only come to shore a few years back. With Brayflock's gobblypods, as a matter of fact. The process of enhancing equipment goes something like this. First, you take well-worn gear and extract materia from it. Don't ask me how. And then you take that materia and attach it to the item you want to enhance. It's this kind of procedure known as melding that once required catalysts like the kind you brought me. I should mention at this point that the actual task of melding is something that only skilled disciples of the hand should attempt. That's weavers, goldsmiths, and so on. The people used to depend on us disciples of land to supply them with catalysts. Then catalyst-free melding was discovered, and we lost not a small source of work. But that's just progress for you, and I try to be happy for it. Now then, there's various kinds of materia, each offering unique benefits. And as I'm sure you've guessed, some of them can be exceedingly useful to miners. It's these which I recommend you seek out. Once you've found a materia you like, you just need to ask a friendly disciple of hand to do the melding for you. I'm sure there's one among your acquaintances. You're looking at him, actually. Level 50 plus in every one of them, matter of fact. I've actually reached the point where I can't do anything else because I don't have access to any of the materials in the Heaven's Word, so I'm kind of locked on those, unfortunately. Ursa, you couldn't have come at a better time. One of our numbers has been taken ill, you see, and I need someone to handle the work assigned to him. Tell me, are you familiar with effervescent water? Alchemists use it to make a substance called natron. And bakers use natron for leavening, that is, raisin dough. Without it, there'd be no ginger cookies, crumpets, blood currant tarts. As you may have gathered, I'm fond of the odd sweet or three. Of course, effervescent water is good for more than just baking. A lot of miners ask for a drop of it in their drinks. Makes the stronger stuff that a bit more refreshing, see? And let me tell you, there's nothing better to wash down the dust of a hard day's mining. But if you didn't come here to hear my thoughts on food and drink, you came here to learn about mining. And so you shall. By procuring some effervescent water for me. The Alchemist Guild needs 15 bottles of the stuff, and urgently. They couldn't stress that enough. From what I can make out, they themselves are scrambling to fulfill an urgent order for natron from the Bismarck in Limsa Lominsa. It's one of Eorzea's finest restaurants, in case you didn't know. Anyway, you best get going. You'll need to work fast to make up for all that time I waste chatting about sweets and grog. Oh, and you'll have the best luck mining around Buscaron Scar over in Black Shroud. So, fun little fact and interplay here. You can actually, if you follow these quests, I remember this from last time, the quest line for the Culinarian Guild, which we're not doing concurrently with this, I did consider it, but it'll be easier for editing purposes to have all these together. That bit about them being swamped by orders for bread, they're dealing with that right now in the Culinarian Guild. Verisimilitude. It all happens at the same time. So, if you were doing a quest at level 20, the presumption is the world at that point is at the same lock as when you were at level 20. This is how you could be a level 100 Lancer and then go back and do a level 5 Archer quest. And it's like, oh yeah, the Calamity's still a thing. Oh, the Beastman! Right? That's how they keep it all consistent within the narrative. So something that's really interesting to me is how all the crafters and gatherers interplay amongst themselves based on all this sort of background stuff. It'd be very cool whenever we get into that thing. So, anyway, I babbled on long enough. Effervescent water. I recommend getting a shitload of it while you're there if you are doing crafting and gathering both at the same time, because effervescent water is used in a lot of things you're going to need. She mentioned natron, obviously. That's going to be useful in tanning leathers, as well as leavening, as she mentioned. And also cloths, and also glass. So, natron is used in basically everything, and effervescent water itself is used in various different threads, including a level 50 recipe for perfect cloth. Right, which is useful for getting recipes. It's a whole thing. You're going to need a lot of this stuff. I would recommend getting as much of it as you can reasonably get while you're just kind of there. Never hurts to stock up. Whenever I go gathering for something that I know I'm going to use a lot of, I don't just get whatever the current questline is. I get a lot of it because why not? So, here we go. 15 bottles of effervescent water, quick as you can. And remember, you're likely to find it in Buscaron Scar over in Gridania's South Shroud. Right in the nick of time. My thanks, Ursa. I'll see to it that these are sent over immediately. But before I do, I should probably expand a bit on what we were talking about earlier. Specifically the part about mixing spirits with effervescent water. See, I wasn't lying when I told you a lot of folk find the combination refreshing. It is refreshing. In fact, adding a bit of bubbly water makes the stuff go down so easily, you have to be careful not to drink yourself under the table. I say this partly for your own good, and partly because the lad whose task you just took care of wasn't careful. Daft sawed through up right where you're standing. Oh, but it didn't end there. He then slipped in his own puke, split his head open on the bar on his way down. Suffice it to say, he won't be working for a while. The dumbass. Thankfully, you took up the slack, and all is well with the guild once more. I could do with a few more like you, Ursa. Keep up the good work, you hear? I was wondering if I could use that sledgehammer. I guess not. Ah, Ursa, just the person I was about to send for. There's an order I want your help with, see? It comes from the Gladiators Guild, via the Vice Foreman herself. You recall the time I had you procure obsidian? Well, this time I need you to find wyvern obsidian, which is a good deal rarer. How rare, you ask? Let's just say I've handled the stuff no more than a dozen times in my life. So yes, it'll be a bugger to find. But don't worry, you won't be working alone. It just so happens that one of your guild mates has volunteered for the task. And considering how difficult it's like to be, I've decided to have the two of you work together. Partner's name is Wide Gully, and he's waiting for you on the far side of the stage. Go over and introduce yourself, and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Run along now. Oh, and good luck. Well, good luck, Wide Gully. I've already done all the work. You must be Ursa, the Guildmaster's pet. Aye, I've heard much more about you. They tell me you've got talent. Trouble is you're an adventurer, and anyone with an ounce of sense knows adventurers can't be trusted. Alberta's sorely mistaken if she thinks you're any different. Likewise, she's sorely mistaken if she thinks I'm going to help you and find 15 chunks of worm and obsidian. I'd sooner fall off my own pickaxe and see you take the credit for my hard work. That said, I'm not about to risk getting kicked out of the guild for disobeying a direct order. Luckily, there's other ways to handle this. What do you say to a contest? It's nigh on as good as cooperating, and as long as the client gets what he wants, Adalberta won't have cause to complain, will she? So here's the deal. We mine for worm and obsidian separately, and whoever brings back the better haul, that's to say the purer haul, is the winner. Simple, yes? Now, we both know I've been doing this a lot longer than you, and I won't have to say that I trounced a novice. So to make this interesting, I'll give you as long as you want for all the good it'll do you. Oh, and if you can even go and talk to the client if you like. His name's Hrodgar, and you'll find him outside the Gladiators Guild. Might be as he can tell you something useful. All the miners are southern. It's been decided. Kind of fits the narrative as well. Okay, let's talk to Hrodgar here. It's Fabio looking motherfucker. Look at this guy. Hi, I'm Hrodgar. What can I do for you? Got yourself into a contest with Wide Gully, you say? Oof, I don't envy you, my mate. I don't know how much about mining myself, but I do know that Wide Gully is good at his job. You can't be Deep Canyon's son without knowing a thing or two about being a miner. Anyway, I have no idea whose idea this contest of yours was, but if it means I get goods of better quality, you won't hear any complaints from me. Now, you wanted to ask me about wyvern obsidian, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you what little I know, but remember, I'm a gladiator, not a miner. Saying that, I haven't graced the blood sands for a while. It took a nasty blow to the knee, you see. Rest assured, that fellow dealt it got far worse. Anyway, I'm all mended and ready to make my return, and I want it to be glorious, something that'll be sung by the bards. So I thought a shiny new sword was in order, and there's nothing like a plumed oak Makahitil to draw a crowd. Why? Because it doesn't have a single piece of metal in it. Makahomia don't, as a rule. Aye, not a speck of metal, but if you wield it right, the shards of worm and obsidian embedded in the blade will cut armor like a hot knife through butter. Ah, but I'm rambling. You wanted to know where to find the stuff, not what I plan to do with it. I vaguely recall a conversation I had with a miner a while back. We were talking about Makahimia. Oh, did I mention that's what you call more than one Makohitil? They're making these words up. They gotta be. I don't actually think they are, because I've seen something similar, like, in life. So I'm pretty sure this is an actual sort of weapon. Well, it is. Where was I? Ah, yes. We were chatting about Makohimia, as the fellow said that he'd previously dug up wyvern obsidian around the Thal's Respite in eastern Thandlin. And that's all I know. Hope it helps. Had it in my pockets this entire time. I need to work on keeping my accents in order today. That guy went from southern to, one guy went from snob to southern to British to southern snob to British snob to, yeah, it was the whole thing. He was drifting. You know, he just doesn't know who he is. He took that arrow to the knee, right, like all good guards do, and then suddenly lost sense of who he was. He'll get there eventually. Alright, Wide Gully. What's the matter? Don't tell me you're having trouble finding a paltry 15 chunks of worm and obsidian. I found 36, motherfucker. Shove that up your Makahitu or whatever. Oh, managed to scrape together the required amount, did you? Well then, let's see your sorry specimens just for the sake of formality. Bugger me! They're black as night! This is some of the purest stuff I've ever seen! How in the seven hells did you find this? You, a mere adventurer? I'm loath to admit if your obsidian is superior to mine. Well, it might be as you bested me on quality, but there's more to being a miner than that. You need to be able to give the client what he wants and when he wants it. In other words, you need speed. That equality counts for naught. I was by far the faster man, so we'll call it a draw. But mark my words, I'll best you next time both on speed and quality. I'll see to it the obsidian gets to Hrothgar. In the meantime, why don't you go and tell the guildmaster all about it? I care not what you say. I had it in my pockets while I was talking to you. I can't imagine you were actually faster than me. Eorzea, how did you find find working with Wide Gully? What? Challenged you to a contest? Contest? As if the tasks weren't difficult enough? I'm terribly sorry, Eorzea. That was hardly fair of him. He's a born miner. What's that? You beat him? Truly? But he's one of the guild's very best. Well done, my lad. He claimed he was faster, did he? Well, speed is important. But Wide Gully set the rules, and by those rules you won, fair and square. You've come a long way, Eorzea. Long way. Make me proud to be your mentor. At the same time, though, I must admit that the miner in me can't help feeling some envy. But it's that which keeps a veteran like me on my toes. Lights a fire in my belly. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Keep doing what you're doing, Eorzea, and I'll do my damnedest to keep up. Good to see you again, Eorzea. You'll be pleased to know that Hrothgar was deeply impressed with the obsidian you got for him. More so than thought, he was impressed that you bested Wide Gully in the contest. 'Tis no ordinary miner who can outdo the vice foreman's own son. Lest you wonder, I knew full well who Wide Gully's father was when I tried to pair both of you up. I also knew for a fact that he has his sights set on my position. There's some who whisper in my ear that I should expel him from the guild, but I can't help but think that's short-sighted. After all, it's hardly a crime to want to be a guild master. What's more, Wide Gully is a tremendously gifted miner, and I'm in the business of punishing excellence, not in the business. To be sure, I'm still better overall, but I'm not above admitting there are certain areas in which he's more knowledgeable. I'll tell you this because you need to speak with him again for your next task. We've received an order for 20 raw amethysts, you see. None among us know more about stones than he does. Now, I realize you don't exactly get off on the right foot with Wide Gully, but the two of you are guildmates. Guildmates help one another, no matter their differences. He really doesn't seem like that bad of like a person. He just doesn't want to be training. Showing on over, bold as you please, after humiliating me the other day. Got some gall, adventurer. Aye, I know where you're here. I heard about the order of raw amethyst, too. No doubt you're wondering where to find them, and you're after my hard-earned knowledge. Well, I'll gladly share it with you. Why so obliging, you ask? Because the knowledge ain't gonna be worth the damn to you, that's why. You'll find the raw amethyst you can carry near Hope Seed Pond over in Central Shroud. The problem has to do with the beasties inhabiting the place more than naught else. Lindworms, stropers, sprites, I hear tell even Jaded Jody's made her home there. Even Rob Bond would have trouble taking a stroll through that neck of the woods, let alone a common adventurer playing a miner. I don't expect to see you back here for 20 hairs on your head, much less 20 of them stones. Here's your 20 stones. Bugger me, you mined these amethysts? I can't believe you made it all the way past them nasty creatures. Though it might be as it's time I stop being surprised. You goddamn adventurers come through more often than I care to admit. Any road, it's one thing to find amethysts, but do you even know aught about them? Their properties, what they represent? Thought not. Well, here's a free lesson. Amethysts are lightning aspected gemstones, prized as embodiments of calmness, decisiveness, and intuition. And coming back with such a large haul of them, it would seem you've got all these things. I might have been hasty to pass judgment. The more I see your work, the more I see why Guildmaster's so fond of you. I never imagined an adventurer would give my toughest competition. And I was learned better than that, to take every adversary earnestly. Seems I'll have to redouble my efforts if I'm to secure my place as best in the business. Don't you worry about the precious amethysts you brought. I'll see them safe to the guild stores. Look forward to our next contest, adventurer. That's when I'll drive the pickaxe home that I am the better miner. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Have you heard, Eorzea? The latest tally has you tied with Wide Gully as the highest earner. You started as a novice with the rusty pickaxe, now you're one of our stoutest pillars. You've come a long way, my friend. Is that a fat joke? I feel like that's a fat joke. Find myself turning to you more often for the difficult orders, the bulk of which have been coming from Deep Canyon. As you should well know from past expeditions, these tend to entail going to dangerous locales. I'm loath to put my people in harm's way, but the concern owns us in truth, if not in name. It'd be ill done to refuse their request, no matter how onerous. But just this once, I've a mind to do just that. I can't in good conscience order you to a wild place like Korthus merely for the sake of 20 pieces of jade. That's what Deep Canyon is requesting this time, and if I have to send someone, you've rightly proven yourself the best candidate. But you should understand how risky the endeavor. Think long and hard before you do something we both regret. While you're mulling it over, though, I should let you know that Wide Gully wanted a word. You'll find him in his usual place. Some jade. Jade! Take it you heard about the job? And I can tell from the look in your eyes that you're already on board with giving it a go. When you come back with the amethyst that last time, I came to realize something. A true miner must be prepared to risk life and limb for his prize. Mining for jade ain't no less place than at Haldreth March and Korthus. Would be the perfect way to put my conviction to the proof. I challenge you to another contest. The first to find 20 pieces of jade and deliver them to Adalberta is the winner. Superior miner by all objective measure. There we go. I understand why Wide Gully had to challenge you yet again. Another temptation to seek out victory, whatever the cost. But winning isn't everything. You do what's right for you, Eorzea. Yeah, beat his ass. There you go. By the 12, this is the jade. And such fine samples, too. Congratulations are in order. You've won the contest. By default, that is. Wide Gully never got his 20 pieces, you see. As he went about his work, he lowered his guard and was attacked by a fell fiend. His wounds were such that it was all he could do to run to safety. He's whole of body, if somewhat worse for wear. He's like to be out of action for a while. But that's not the worst of it. More than the wounds, you see, I worry for his state of mind. He saw you as a rival to surpass, but he ended up losing in a contest he devised himself. That kind of disappointment is enough to break most people. Trust me, I know. But I pray that Wide Gully has the strength to get back on his feet and take up the pickaxe once more. Be ashamed to lose one so gifted. Let's return to the matter before us, though. Wasn't exaggerating about the quality of this jade. Its purity and strength allow you to see why it's thought of as the embodiment of immortality. Since ancient times, man has chosen to adorn his tools and garb with it. Imbuing yourself with the everlasting is certainly an attractive notion. And no one is more aware of the tradition than Wide Gully. It's for that very reason I intended to create for him a gift of jade. The stone bears my hopes that he will rise again, no matter how often the spinner might see fit to test him, and bring him to his knees. That in there. Okay. Ah, Eorzea, I was hoping you'd come by. Need your help with something. It concerns Wide Gully. He's recovering from the wounds suffered in Korthus and resumed his mining for the guild. Wonderful news, to be sure, but one thing yet troubles me. You see, Wide Gully has been taking on far more tasks than a single man should. Some attribute his newfound fervor to the sting of losing that ill-conceived jade contest. But I suspect there's more to the tale. Tried to broach the subject to him, but he's as stubborn as an oryx, insisting it's not but my imagination. But I know there's something, and where I've failed, you might succeed. Strange though this may sound, you're the closest thing he has to a friend here. So I beg you, Eorzea, speak with Wide Gully and try to learn what ails him. Do what you can to ease his burdens. Know that Alberta sent you. She's been on me something fierce since I came back. But it doesn't matter why you're here or at whose request. The simple truth is I need your help. I've got a secret that would be sure to bring great shame on my family, but I need to tell someone, and I know you're an honest sort. Ledgers at the concern have been tampered with, and I'm being credited for work I didn't do. Wasn't keen on believing it, but the culprit is my own father. I first suspected something off when I received my last evaluation. I know better than anyone what I do around here, and I knew it wasn't working that much. I looked over the concern's records of its dealings with the guild, and sure as day I found some damning evidence. Didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I never wanted it said that I had a leg up in the guild because I'm the vice foreman's son. If I was to succeed, I wanted it to be on my own hands. Learning that my old man was falsifying my accomplishments was like a punch to the gut. And that's why I've been working so feverishly of late. By fulfilling enough orders, I'm hoping to turn my family's lies into truths. But I've taken on more jobs than I can get my hands to juggle them with. So, like I said, Adventure, I need your help. And I'm swallowing my pride to ask you this, but I've got no pride left. Whatever happens from here on out, I'm a miner first and foremost, and I just want to do my job. Right now, the order giving me the biggest headache is for 20 chunks of electrum ore. You can find the stuff at Camps Broads Lake over at Upper Lenosia. Please hurry, and thanks. Excuse me, one second. So I got a text. Oh, sorry. Somebody texted me real quick. Alright, turn these in. Have you got the 20 chunks of electrum ore yet? Because you've forgotten, you'll find them at campgrounds. Like, oh, I never read those out because they're usually super redundant. Also, you'll notice I farmed a ton of that stuff because I needed it for a lot of Goldsmith things. I couldn't have mined better ore myself. You've done me a great kindness. Gratitude rolls queerly off my lips, does it? Mayhap that's something that comes more natural with time. It was only my pride that held it back before, and as I said, I've not left of that. I have to work harder than ever now to make my fictionalized accomplishments more than just ink on parchment. As of now, I'm a fraud, plain and simple. Not unlike this electrum, really. 'Tis impure stuff, gold mixed up with silver and other metals. Bah, what am I saying? That comparison ain't fair to electrum. At least this alloy is worth something. You see, when refined, electrum takes an opulent whitish hue not seen in other metals. And there are certain things that can't be made without it. So it's prized by crafters. No, if I'm to liken myself to metal, I'd have to be common brass. Stuff's pretty enough to look at when polished, but worth little and less. God, I had dreams of being special. One-of-a-kind type miner everyone respected. But now I just... Enough of this brooding. I hate myself as it is, no need to add being a whiny sop to my list of failings. You saved my hide today, Eorzea, and I'll find a way to repay the debt, mark my words. I was not expecting a level up from this, but I'll take it. Anything we need really here. This is probably, I was going to say, this is probably worse than the one I've got, although it looks badass. Let's do that comparison real quick. Yeah, much worse. Much worse. But, good glamour option. So like I said, I like the look of it. Okay. Oh, we're not picking it, we're accepting it. Eorzea, thank the gods you're here. It's Wide Gully. He's gone and filed a complaint against his father to the concern, citing an abuse of power. It has forced Deep Canyon into a difficult position, to say the least. I thought the two of us haven't exactly seen eye to eye of late. I still owe the man a great debt. I wouldn't go to him and offer what aid I could, but he's like to spurn even the attempts. I know full well how much I've already asked of you, but I would be eternally grateful if you'd lend Deep Canyon aid in my stead. To get started, it might be best to see what possessed his son to inform on his own flesh and blood. Here at the Guildmaster's bidding again? Well, I see no reason not to tell you about the situation. You know most everything any road. My old man was foisting dangerous jobs on the guild, forcing his members to risk life and limb for his own agenda. If that ain't the very definition of abuse, I don't know what is. You yourself were on the receiving end of this, I'm sure you'll recall. Kin or no, I couldn't stand by and watch my guild mates being used like pawns in his game, so I went to the concern's upper management and filed a complaint. Hasn't said a word to me since, but I'd have a guess that he might be willing to speak with you. You've certainly done your fair share for the guild. He's out by the entrance right now, in case you want to hear his side of the story. I'm kind of with him on that, though. Like, he was legitimately going to get somebody killed. It was almost his own son, so... It's been some time, Eorzea. You're doubtless here as regards my son's accusations. Well, it's just as he claims. Now, this ain't going to spare me what's coming, but I had a reason for my actions. Vengeance. Oh, that helps. Yeah, good. I was supposed to become the guild master of the Miners Guild. Everyone knew I had the best claim. Adalberta robbed me of the honor. Me, the man who taught her nigh everything she knows about her trade. She went behind my back and conspired with her predecessor. And then, fancy who ended up being chosen to lead. By way of payback, ever since I became vice foreman, I've striven to make Adalberta's life harder than trying to mine with a dull pickaxe. All those outrageous demands to make her look incompetent. At the same time, I went about assuring my son was well placed to take over as guildmaster. And my plan was about to bear fruit, too, till you came along and ruined it all by being my son's better. By your expression, I take it you're doubtful of the tale. Well, you need only ask your deal guildmaster. She can vouch for everything I've said. That seems off somehow. Something else going on. What? Deep Canyon believes I cheated him out of becoming a guildmaster? That's not it at all. I never aspired to this position. Gods, I was only an Alamegan refugee, working as hard as I could to get by. I never dreamed that I could rise as I did, and I suspected even less that it was the self-same dedication to my work which led me to being chosen. If I had known that accepting the mantle would tear us apart, limiting the task won't avail us. I only know that I wouldn't be where I am without that man. I can't allow this misunderstanding to cost Deep Canyon everything. I simply couldn't bear it. I'm not sure there's aught we could do, we could still do for him at this point, but we must try. Listen, White Gully is the one who filed the complaint. If you were to throw your own weight behind some of my concerns, then maybe he could yet do something. Please, Eorzea, it would mean so much. I don't remember what we got to harvest. It doesn't seem like it has anything to do with actually harvesting anything. Like, what am I going to harvest to help here? Adalberta wants me to help my old man. Truth be told, it ain't my wish to see his career destroyed neither. I wanted to teach him a lesson. Make him know that he can't just use people for his own ends. Now that the concern knows, it's been taken out of my hands. In their eyes, my father's actions jeopardize relations with the Miners Guild. Nothing could be worse. So they've given him a test. If he's to remain vice foreman, he must prove at the inquest that he still has the confidence of the guild. And they ain't interested in no words. They want hard evidence. That is to say, they're demanding that someone from the guild show him loyalty by going and digging up 3 of the toughest damn chunks of ore there is to find. Dark steel. Problem is, he's got no allies in the guild on account of his own behavior. I certainly don't qualify for the task, being his son, and Adalberta can't do it neither, because she's the bleeding guildmaster. That's just how it works. This leaves you, Eorzea. We don't have much time before the inquest begins, so you'll have to hurry, and I wasn't exaggerating before. Dark steel's elusive as all hells, located in the snowy reaches of Korthus and nowhere else. To actually find the stuff, you'll first need to use your Truth of Mountains technique to locate the unspoiled mineral deposits. Then, and God knows why, you'll have to survive a night in the cold for the deposits to reveal themselves. Finally, you dig and you pray. When you have enough chunks of dark steel ore, take them to Adalberta. I'll make sure she knows what's going on. It's kind of nice, it tells you when. Alright. Why, Gully told me about the situation. Be sure you bring in the dark steel as soon as you've got it. Now, I feel the bears mentioning, but regarding how to go about obtaining the ore, may sound ridiculous, but it's exactly as why Gully says. You'll need to the endurance to survive a night in Corthus, and the technique of through the mountains to locate unspoiled deposits. 12 speeds your way. Incredible, Eorzea. Your talents are truly boundless. Hopefully these will suffice to spare Deep Canyon. But let's make haste to the inquest. Why Gully is already on his way. I love these two Lalafels here with the two different colored eyes. Well, did you make the guild members bring you the dark steel? Did you get a guild member to bring you dark steel ore? Because make no mistake, Deep Canyon, if you came to this inquest empty-handed, we will end you. Your career with the concern will be just a memory. Well... We have the ore right here, procured by Eorzea Bearsong and the Miners Guild. Shing! I got 20 more in my pockets. Somebody wants to offer me some gold. 12 would be good. She isn't lying. This is dark steel, some of the finest I've ever seen. It's no ordinary miner who can find dark steel, let alone the stuff that looks this good. Seems your reputation is well earned. That said, we're hardly here to question your ability, though I find myself wondering as to your motives. Why did you bring the ore? Aye, I'd know the same. Why'd you stick your neck out for him? He's giving you nothing but trouble. What in the seven hells are you trying to pull, Alberta? I don't need anyone's pity, yours least of all. Fucking hit him with a pickaxe. I'm not here to give you my pity, but to clear up misunderstandings between us. Misunderstanding? Listen to me, Deep Canyon. I never wanted to become the guild master. The responsibility was thrust upon me, and there was naught to be done for it. Gods, when my name was being bandied about for the position, my first instinct was to take myself out of consideration. I spoke to the guildmaster in private, as you say, but it wasn't to convene against you. It was to give up my claim. You expect me to believe that? If I had truly betrayed you back then, why would I bother to come here? But if that's true, then everything I've done, by the 12, to have taken it this far. You don't want to admit defeat, Father. Alberta beat you at your own merits. You knew this in your heart, but you refused to accept it. In your pride, you convinced yourself that she betrayed you. By doing so, you only validated why you were passed over for Guildmaster in the first place. Please, Father, let go of the past. Accept that you were beaten, as I have, by Eorzea, and let's start over. You have it in you to do so, Deep Canyon, to begin anew. I know of your love for mine and more than anything. If you'll be willing to try again, I promise you've got the guild's full cooperation. Full cooperation? Are you sure about this? I would love to leave the past behind where it belongs, in the past. The guild wants only to look forward, to continue working with the concern. Eorzea was the biggest victim in this whole affair, yet he is willing to give Deep Canyon another chance. He wouldn't have brought the Darksteel ore otherwise. That's well and good. What about you? Can he really forget everything he's done? I can. Above all else, I miss my old friend and mentor. Get him back, I would forgive much and more. Alberta. Well, I'm inclined to lay this matter to rest. Any objections, Ceci? If you're satisfied, brother, then so am I. Then it is settled. Vice Foreman Deep Canyon, by request of the Miners Guild, you shall retain your present office at Amagina and Sons Mineral Concern. Through hard work, I trust that you will make amends for your past transgressions. I just love all the Lalafels in here. I'm full glad that it's over, Eorzea. I would have a word with you in private. Would you mind returning to the guild with me? Oh, okay. I asked you here so that I might thank you properly. Had you not been on hand to help, Deep Canyon's career would have ended prematurely and in disgrace. Worse, I might have lost my dear friend forever. I owe you a debt that I'll never likely be able to repay. But look at you. In no time at all, you've grown into a miner who can make the earth yield up even dark steel, the rarest of metals. There's nothing left for me to teach you. As an adventurer, you're like to find yourself in all corners of the realm. But wherever your road takes you, I want you to practice our craft for the good of all. Go well, Eorzea. May your toils never go unrewarded. I like that. Okay. Okay, hear me out. I don't need this at all. How much is this money? Holy shit, 7,500 gil? Can I craft this? Can I purchase this? No. That's a lot of gil. But this looks so funny. I love this. Okay. Let's share a screenshot it. Okay. That way we have something to strive for glamour, because that looks hilarious and I want it. And that concludes everything for the miner story. Just a minor tale. Quick little aside too. Probably should have gone in. So dark steel, they talked about it in the questline we just did, but dark steel is kind of a pain in the ass to get. So it's one of the unspoiled materials. I mean, you can only collect it during certain time windows. Once you have already collected something, though, it will show up on here. I don't believe you can even purchase dark steel. Oh, I guess you can. But yeah, it'll be right here. It'll be that time window, and you can set an alarm. You guys saw it with spruce already. So every day, I get an alarm for spruce, because spruce is something that I need in great abundance. I'll probably set another alarm for dark steel, which I believe is at 1 a.m. But that concludes the miner story. We learned a lot. Adalberta, a former Alamegan refugee, taken under the wing of the guild. And then there was kind of that whole intrigue where she became guild master. Obviously, what's his face over here was surly about it. But they've kind of moved past that now. Wide Gully is probably let's say he's a bigger man than his dad there. He was definitely the first to realize, oh, no, I need to fucking get my shit together, right? Like, I'm not doing myself any favors by just being a snob, right? So he moved on. And that was pretty much the end of that. I'm going to stay as a miner for just a little while longer, because here in 40 minutes Eorzean time, we will be going to harvest some dark steel, and then we'll carry on with the Botanist questline. We're making good time so far. I knew that doing it this way would definitely queue it up a lot faster. Otherwise, we would probably not be getting everything done at once. Do keep in mind, and I pointed out a couple times, that there are some narrative dissonances whenever you do everything all at once like that. Grab that fish. Because you're doing everything all at once, you do tend to lose some of the timing or the sense of urgency in that, right? I don't want to... I want to impress upon that being a thing, right? So, like, the way that I did it, there was no real urgency because I knew I'd make it back with the ore in time for Dark Canyon, the Deep Canyon. And that's all well and good, but it's just one of those things where I feel like you should at least point it out. They are here literally every night. Crazy. Okay. Truth Mountains. Quick little thing. So I have macros. I think I've showed you guys before. The macros that I have, whenever I'm on any class, it will put on the sort of, I want to see everything of every other class. The only thing I have to do manually for 3 more levels on Miner is Through the Mountains. Specifically because at level 60 you unlock a trait that will do that automatically for you. Yeah, Darksteel is one of those things where I need a ton of it for various different projects that I want to do for the house. So, Darksteel and Spruce, we're going to mine up a ton of. But, yeah. We're about a third of the way through the stuff I wanted to do today, so we're making excellent progress. Let's go ahead and get the Botanist next. that, we can just return home to Gridania. So you notice now, because the Botanist is level 60, the mountains thing came on automatically, or the forest thing came on automatically, and it always will. That's something kind of cool about Botanist and Miner too, is that they don't desync. So once you have them leveled, they're leveled. You don't ever have to worry about it going back. So that's kind of nice. Same thing with Fisher. Crafters work that way as well. But okay. Fafusha. Good evening, Ursa. I see from the soil on your hands that you have been as diligent as ever in your botany. I am not surprised. As we develop new skills, so do our labor become more varied, and thus does our motivation grow. Yet know that motivation can only take you so far. If you wish to master botany, you must pay heed to these details, which you have until now taken for granted. In particular, I speak of gear, the tools of our trade. Not all of the tools are created equal, you see, and if you are to work with any degree of efficiency, you must use such gear as befits your ability. Lest you misunderstand, I am not telling you to go and replace your gear. There is a more frugal way to improve your tools, and one more respectful to nature besides. Tell me, have you heard of materia? It's a kind of crystal that can be used to enhance the efficiency of gear, efficacy of gear. In the past, the enhancement process required certain catalysts found throughout nature, gathering which was our domain, but new methods have rendered them obsolete. Be that as it may, these substances still make for ideal subjects for training budding botanists such as yourself. Therefore, for your next task, I would like you to gather a quantity of such catalyst, namely, grade 1 carbonized matter. 15 fragments should suffice. A thorough search of the area surrounding Aleport will surely prove fruitful. The hamlet lies in western Lenosia, upon the island of Ildren. Once you have gathered the requisite amount, pray present the carbonized matter to Sandre. He will teach you the basics of materia. Fun fact, back when these first came out, and until very recently actually, it wasn't 15, it was 100. You had to gather 100 per, so 200 total. Might have been 50 for this, but it was certainly a hell of a lot longer than it was now. Way harder to do. Fafusha sent you to learn about materia, you say? Very well, bring me 15 fragments of carbonized matter, we'll talk. Seems Fafusha has high hopes for you. Very well, let us speak of materia. The art of crafting with materia is yet new to Eorzea. It was born to our shores by a goblin scholar named Mutamax some few years ago. But simply, the process begins with extracting materia from old gear. This is then attached to another piece of gear, enhancing the item's properties. Mind you, it's not as if any half-wit can do the attaching, arguable. No, it takes a skilled craftsman with the necessary knowledge and experience. And once, the process also required a substance known as catalysts. The carbonized matter you see gathered is one such substance. But then they discovered a way to attach materia without the stuff, and we botanists are a little more idle for it. Such is the way of progress. And that, my friend, is materia in brief. Now, I thank you not to ask me about the workings of it. That sort of scholarly stuff is beyond my fathoming. If you wish to know more, perhaps even try your hand at crafting with materia, I suggest you seek out a goblin Mutamax. It is said he had his camp at a place called the Bonfire, out in the wilds of central Thanalan. Oh, and keep in mind that materia comes in a great many varieties, each granting unique benefits to gear attached to it. I dare say you'll lose count of all the kinds you come across on your adventures. So, similar to how we... Oh, hang on. If I were you, I'd try to find a craftsman who'd be willing to attach the materia for me. Chances are there's such a person among your list of acquaintances. So, same thing with the crafting. Whenever we got there, and they were like, level 10, let's talk about leaves. Similar thing here. They don't necessarily know that you're going to be doing these back-to-back. So... As Gridania continues to make headway along the road to recovery, ever more outsiders shall flock to her gates. They come here in the hopes of trading. Gridania must welcome them if she is to forge stronger bonds with our neighbors and prosper. Make no mistake, Ursa, busy times lie ahead. Verily, we have just received an order for no fewer than 2,000 fine-quality sprigs of chamomile from the quicksand in Uldar. So run along and harvest them, would you? I jest, of course. A task of this sale will require more than 2 hands. If you would be so good as to procure, say, 15 sprigs, I would consider it an appropriate contribution. Chamomile is well known for its fragrant aroma and soothing properties. There is satisfaction to be had in ensuring that folk from every corner of the realm can sample the delights of this great staple. Do you not agree? The herb is abundant in Upper Eorzea, around Oakwood to be precise. Once you have harvested 15 sprigs, pray deliver them to Sandre. Oh. Okay. I'm sure I have it in a box. Let's see. That's probably why I didn't harvest any more of it, because I'm sure I already had some. Sometimes for Grand Company turn-ins, I'll harvest more than I need to, so I'm sure I did that a while ago. Oh, wrong way. Come on. There we go. Let's go and complete this real quick, too. Oh, you would be in this one? You would be in... Oops. This one. Chamomile. Chamomile. Local grass. I hope I have 15 chamomile. It'll be very embarrassing if I don't. Put in the wrong thing? Let's see. Definitely a bush one. Corn, there we go. Chamomile. Ah, put in the wrong one. Okay. There we go. Nope, not that. Let's throw these guys in here. So Fafusha has you harvesting chamomile as well. Oh, well, let's not read that. Every time I read those, I regret it. It's usually just like, oh, chamomile, huh? Pray tell. 13, 15, 14. I deliberately read those out of order. Precisely 15 sprigs of chamomile. My thanks, friend. That distinct aroma. There's nothing like chamomile tea to calm the nerves. It's a perfect way to end the day, I reckon. Now all I have to do is wait for your fellow harvesters to bring back the rest. Pack the lot and drag it all to an airship landing. I expect I will have earned a cup or two of the tea when that's done, though I rather suspect it will be the very last thing I fancy. I don't know if Fafusha mentioned it, but this batch is bound for Ul'dah. It would seem the lords and ladies there developed a taste for chamomile tea. Developed a taste, I said, but like as not they drink it just to impress their neighbors. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if each cup was served on a golden saucer. But there I go again about my old prejudices. It's a bad Godronian habit. I know. Sooner or later I'll have to get rid of it. Don't want a visiting Olden to splash hot tea in my face now, do I? One. I fear we have a situation on our hands, Ursa. The guild's crop of alligator pears have been ravaged by vermin, and scarcely a day before the fruit was due to be picked. It's disheartening to see our labors come to naught, but such is the way of nature. Alas, our woes do not end there. In a fine example of ill timing, no sooner had the disaster come to light than we received an unusually large order for, yes, alligator pears, from the Caroline canopy. Yet all hope is not lost, for the fruit grows in the wild. We need but find enough to fulfill the order, 15 to be precise. Our man Soulé is charged with keeping tracks of such produce as may be harvested in Twelveswood. He spends most of his days around Bent Branch Meadows this time of year. If there are alligator pairs out there, he'll know where to find them. Pray seek him out, Eorzea, and do as he directs. Shoop. Okay. Take a brief little aside here. Oh, no! Just in time for it to leave. I was like, we'll go harvest that real quick, but no, I guess not. Looking for alligator pairs. I heard the unfortunate tidings. Yet all we can do is take the chin and hope to cope with the best. That's not what he said, but we'll war with him. I recommend you search northeast of Quarry Mill. Wild alligator pairs grow there, and were doing well when I last passed through. Barring pests, they should be ripe for picking right about now. Oh, and just so you know, the place you're going is no different from any other untamed corner of the Twelves Wood. By which I mean it's full of nasties. Botanists like myself avoid the area if we can help it. But it should be as a walk with a flower garden for an adventurer like you. Now you have to be on your way. Those alligator pairs aren't going to pick themselves. Oh, cannon skill. That Aetherite is so far away from the actual guild hall. Okay. I trust you know where the alligator pairs are found in... Oh, hang on. I always say I'm not going to do it, then I just read it by instinct. Alligator pairs, and just in the nick of time. You have spared us Meoni's wrath. Lest you misunderstand, Meoni is a reasonable woman, ordinarily. It is just that much rests upon this fruit's availability. Alligator pears are to form the centerpiece of a new dish of hers, you see. A hearty salad which she was been prompting fervently to adventurers far and wide. Meoni would not have been pleased had her plans gone awry, but owing to your efforts, she can keep her promise, and we do our good reputation. My profound thanks, Eorzea. I trust you have learned a valuable lesson from this episode, namely that we must not take nature's bounty for granted. As I taught you when first you came to us, nature is an unsentimental creature. She may provide for our every need today, only to take it all away on the morrow. Those who would walk the path of botany must come to terms with this fact, and the sooner the better. For should your labors prove fruitless, and they frequently shall, no amount of brooding will avail you. At such times, one must remember that for all her seeming cruelty, nature is not our enemy. She simply is. If you would become intimate with her and partake of her bounty, you must learn to accept her unconditionally. Ah, Eorzea, you couldn't have come at a better time. A dear old friend of mine has found herself in a predicament and is in dire need of a botanist's aid. Normally I would not trouble you with a request of such a personal nature. This task, however, should serve you nicely in your training. A contingent of god quivers had just returned victorious from a hard-fought battle with the Ixal, and my culinarian friend Yanni has been tasked with overseeing a feast befitting the occasion. Unfortunately, she is suffering from an untimely shortage of a key ingredient. I would ask you to harvest 20 laurel leaves, which can be found amidst the lush vegetation in the northeast of Alamigo in southern Thanolin. Then bring them to me for inspection. Your laurel leaves? Easy enough. Oh, those are so cute. Let me see here. 1920, and nary a withered leaf among the lots. Yanni will be as pleased as peas. Speaking of which, Eorzea, do you know why laurels are so prized by culinarians of the realm? Not only does it boast a most pleasant aroma, deep yet not overpowering, the perfect accent to a savory stew or seasoning for a steak, but it is also known to stimulate the appetite. Brave men and women of the gods quiver feast now, but it's only a matter of time before they are summoned back onto the battlefield. Deliver the laurel to Yanni that she might prepare a feast that will warm the hearts as well as sate their stomachs. Okay. Greetings, friend. Greetings, friend. Are you up perchance the botanist whom Fuchsia entrusted that my order of laurels? Well, I can see Fuchsia is always singing your praises. These will be among the crispest, most aromatic laurel leaves ever to grace my spice rack. Exali raiding parties grow more relentless each passing day. I fear that the day will soon come when we can no longer afford to feast on men as heartily as we do today. Still, Gridania's finest require sustenance as much as they need their lances and bows. I am but a simple culinarian, but it would do what I can to support my countrymen, and yet there is only so much I can accomplish on my own. In any event, I am grateful for your aid. Pass along my thanks to Fuchsia, and let her know that I shall be calling upon your services again. Okay. That was an easy one. I hear Yanni was overjoyed with your delivery. Thanks to you, she'll be able to prepare a feast befitting the triumphant occasion. And yet, truth be told, I take no pleasure in martial victories. Every day that we continue this to water the soil with blood, I fear we lose something of what we once were. There was a time when Gridanian and Ixal alike lived in harmony with nature, and with each other. Is there no other way to resolve our differences than with lance and arrow? Forgive me, Eorzea. I do not mean to burden you with my troubles. Oh, good morning, Eorzea. Forgive me if I seem a bit pensive. You must know the thought of our harvests or contributing to the war effort has been weighing heavily on my heart. What I truly wish to be is an agent of peace. But what can a humble botanist do? In the meanwhile, another order has come in from Yanni, this time for zucchini in large quantities. No, I'm afraid our homegrown variety simply will not suffice. Fortunately, they are said to grow in wild and in abundance in the Eorzea region. I would ask you to travel to eastern Eorzea and harvest 20 of the finest zucchini you can find to the area of Raincutcher's Gully. When you are through, bring them here to me. But with splendid zucchini. There, hang on. I'm gonna need you not to say, with no context, what resplendent zucchini. Okay. I'm just gonna move on. What resplendent zucchini. I had no idea such succulent specimens could be found in the wild. Truly a testament to the splendor of nature, is it not? They're so girthy. I added the last bit. The zucchini plant is quite sensitive to humidity. One would never see them grow so large and luscious here in the Twelves Wood. Furthermore, they are quick to ripen and quicker to rot, meaning that timing is of the essence. And yet a perfect ripe zucchini is truly a thing of beauty, sweet enough to be savored raw. Its skin retains a pleasantly firm texture, even when stewed. I suppose Yanni means to prepare a wholesome and hearty feast for our soldiers. I know I should take pride in serving our nation this way, but I have troubled you enough. Take your harvest to Yanni with my blessing. Oh, Yanni's in here now. Fuchsia showed me 20 zucchini were on their way. Might you be the one who took the order? Why, what remarkable zucchini! I've not seen the likes of these in quite some time. At the risk of sounding boastful, I dare say that my next batch of ratatouille is shaping up to be the tastiest Gridania has ever seen. Ratatouille is a dish that holds a special place in my heart. It was the first recipe I learned, you see, taught to me by none other than Fuchsia's own mother. My father was a traveling merchant, and our family moved often when I was young. I had few friends until we moved to Gridania, where I befriended Fuchsia. Hours would I spend by her side as she rooted through the garden. After sunset, we would go inside, where her mother would whip up a ratatouille, and that truly warmed both body and soul. Ah, to relive those days. Wait a minute, I have an idea. This is the ratatouille that inspired me to pursue the culinarian's path from such a young age. Do take a bolt to Fuchsia. It seems she could use something of a pick-me-up to her spirits these days. I can do that. I thank you for delivering the zucchini to Yanni. That sounds very suggestive. I suppose she is already slaving over a hot stove, preparing a stew that will give our warriors the stamina to fight yet another. What's that? Yanni has something for me. Why, this is my mother's ratatouille. I always knew Yanni loved the recipe, but I had no idea she learned to reproduce it such a succulent perfection. Ah, this brings me back to the old days. Yes, things were so much simpler then. Now the ratatouille that once warmed our hearts after hours spent frolicking in the gardens serves to light a fire in the bellies of those who march off to war. Will things never be as they were? Not be standing inside you there, little friend. Sorry. Ursa, I trust you not only as a botanist, but as one who shares my dream of bringing peace to the forest that shelters us. The Order of Twin Adder has commissioned from us mistletoe in staggering quantities. You will need to search the vicinity of Camp Dragonhead and central Highland of Corthus. The curative properties of mistletoe make it a vital ingredient for many salves and medicines. I cannot help but fear that our guild has once more been drawn into serving this fruitless war effort. Forgive me for being a hopeless idealist, Ursa. Could you visit the Twin Adder's nest and inquire with Lieutenant Gavin as to the nature of his request? I will not refuse his order, you may assure him of that. I simply wish to know. So I do find that kind of interesting, because she's, you know, I mean, they're botanists, right? They spend a lot of time in the forest. They're essentially hippies, really, if you think about it. So she's really torn up about, however inadvertently, and sometimes it's inadvertent, and sometimes it's like, I am making the arrow that will go into the enemy. She's struggling to reconcile that with her beliefs. So I find that interesting. So if Fafusha wishes to know how the mistletoe will be used before she fills the order, it is a fair request. I have no intention to deceive her, nor you. The mistletoe will be used to prepare medicines for the battle ahead. It's as simple as that. This will not please a pacifist like Fafusha, no, but what can be done? Does she think that we enjoy bloodshed any more than she? Were there a way to bring peace to the forest, I would be the first to welcome it. In the meantime, the Ixal continue to attack our people, and we do what we can to protect them. A single soldier such as myself has no more power to end this war than does a botanist. In any event, I must return to my duties. So you can harvest 20 sprigs of mistletoe and tell Fafusha that our courier will be along to receive them. The order will be in your debts. Oh, that's why. Yep. We're in the same company. Feel like a good token of respect there. Yep. Botanist Gil, Botanist Gil. Oh. My god. Ooh. I am so sorry, travelers. Apparently I was not as prepared as I thought I was. It's okay, though. Should be in one of the two of these. I was wrong before, so I'll try with the wrong first this time. There's flax. Do I have to go harvest the mistletoe? Did I forget to do so? 45. Wow, I guess I gotta go harvest some. Well, this won't take long, sorry. I'm here. I think the unspoiled note is here too. It's only been up an hour, so it should have a little while longer. We're busy. I won't go get it right now. Ones like that are not super bad because at least they're not weather dependent. The weather dependent ones are really annoying. Okay. This. Go. Welcome back, Eorzea. So it is I feared. Do not worry, I will take the 20 sprigs of mistletoe. Thank you. You have served the guild well once more, and so the unending cycle of bloodshed goes on. Needless to say, by no fault of your own. I bear no ill will to Lieutenant Gavin or his people. On the contrary, I have naught but respect for his candor, not to mention his service to my homeland. What weighs heavy on my heart is a sentiment far more simple, almost childish. I simply cannot bear to see that the forest I love suffer any longer. War is inevitable, that I understand. By aiding the war efforts, we do not merely contribute to the suffering, we profit from it. No better than the parasitic mistletoe. We suck the life out of the tree that shelters us for our own personal gain. A parasite. It's that which our once proud guild has been reduced to. How can I in good conscience permit this to go on? Forgive me, Eorzea, I would be alone with my thoughts for a while. Yeah, she is struggle-uggling. Not a little up there. Really was not expecting that. What's this axe looking like? What did axe do? It's a pretty cool axe. Oh, this hat. Yeah, this hat's pretty funny. I like it. Not as good as the miner helmet, though. The miner helmet was better. Forgive me if I seem a bit distant last time we spoke, Eorzea. Allow me to get straight to the point. I have not come to this decision easily, but I have come to it all the same. As of today, I have resigned from the Botanist Guild. Our battle with the Ixal rages on, and there are rumblings of the Empire as well. With each passing day, more people die. The soil is stained deeper with blood, and Twelveswood weeps. Meanwhile, I fill orders for the war effort, and for what purpose? The more Ixal may suffer and die than Gardanians? No, if this is what it means to be a botanist in this day and age, I want no part of it. Yanni, may Navaga bless her dear heart, tried to convince me to stay. Still, I fear my heart is settled. Mind you, this decision is mine alone. I would pass no judgment on those who find meaning in their efforts. Should you wish to continue to serve the guild, I am sure Yanni will have suitable tasks for you. Farewell, Eorzea. May the Twelveswood ever shelter you. Oh, Eorzea, I'm so glad you're here. You spoke to Vafusha, yes? It absolutely breaks my heart to see what's become of my old friend. Vafusha and I have known each other since we were both knee-high to the funguar, and I assure you, her knowledge of she's still knee-high to a funguar, sorry. Her knowledge of and passion of the flora here of this realm is second to none. The guild would be absolutely lost without her guidance. Of course, I understand her worries. These are not easy times for the seeker of peace and friend to nature. And yet I cannot help but feel that her emotions cloud her better judgment. That she is not seeing the forest for the trees, if you will. Vafusha has convinced herself that she is doing more harm than good to the natural world that she loves. Preposterous. Has she forgotten the countless trees she planted after the calamity, journeying far and wide to return lush verdure to the shattered realm? Someone must remind her of all that she has accomplished, and the work that is still left to be done. To that end, I may contact one of Vafusha's former apprentices, a botanist by the name of Retoilian. who now tends to a forest that Fafusha herself led the planting of many years ago. My word as a friend will not reach Fafusha now. Only a fellow botanist who understands the depths of her worries can heal the wounds in her heart. I beg of you, Eorzea, speak with Rutulian and seek his counsel. Rutulian tends the forest surrounding Timberlord's Lodge in central Quarthus. Please go quickly. Once Fafusha leaves our guild behind, I fear that she will never return. I was just here, too. That is still there. Probably for only like 2 more Eorzean minutes, but it's still there. Taunting us. Yeah, there it goes. It's either 2 more Eorzean minutes or an entire Eorzean hour. It's one of those 2 things. For those of you who are not like familiar with what I'm referencing, I'll move the cursor over there and make it a little bit easier. So this right here is Eorzea time. This is local time for me. If you'll notice, Eorzea time moves in order of magnitude more quickly than local time. That way, instead of it being synced to real time, where you have to wait for a lot of this botany stuff till real time hours, so that like you would have to harvest a certain log at like 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever, they gave it their own timeline. Very grateful. Okay. Well met, Eorzea. Yanni told me to expect you. I am Rutulian, a humble botanist plying his trade in these bleak lands. Botany is not simply my livelihood. I consider it my true calling. Calling I would have never discovered were it not for Fafusha's guidance. Needless to say, I was devastated to hear the news. All hope is not lost, however, as I hit upon an idea. Tell me, Eorzea, are you familiar with the spruce tree? Do not blame me if you are not, as it is a rare sight these days. As Fafusha would tell it, in the years before the calamity, vast forests of spruce would stretch for malms and malms. What spruce trees you see today are the result of Fafusha's efforts to bring the flora of ages past back to Eorzea. Perhaps seeing that her work has borne fruit will convince her not to abandon her life as a botanist. Knowing Fafusha as I do, the gesture would mean the most to her if the spruce were harvested by the hand of an apprentice close to her heart. Your hand, Eorzea. Before you set off, be forewarned. Spruce is still rare to these parts, and not easily discerned. Only one with knowledge of truth of forest could hope to identify these trees, and then only after the trained eye from the break of dawn. If your eyes are true, friend, you will come upon mature trees unlike any you have seen before. Harvest from them 3 spruce logs, and bring them back to me. We'll say, interesting that they give a lore reason why these notes are timed, and they actually kind of make sense in some ways. 50 of these. Remarkable gathering, Eorzea. I see that Fafusha has trained you well. I had a mind to deliver them to Fafusha straight away, but I just received some troubling news. Have you heard that we in Quarthus are locked in war with the dragons, have you not? A recent dragon raid has left many soldiers and settlers without shelter. A carpenter in the area is doing all he can to construct new lodgings, but lumber is painfully short supply. I share your concern for Fafusha, but I am sure you will agree that our first priority as botanists is to help those in need. My Fafusha herself taught me as much. Please, Eorzea, seek out the carpenter, deliver to him some spruce logs. The people of Quarthus need suffer without a roof over their heads for no longer. It's back. Might be Thavnarian mistletoe, or certainly a different one than the one I'm used to. Know that for sure. For sure. Oh hell, it might be this. Oh no, because that's not totally Thavnarian. Clearly I wasn't reading that right. It's like, why is this not filled in? Okay. Yes, on the off chance that you're either blind or stupid, I'm a busy man. Busy doing what you say? Searching for lumber, that's what. We've no end of houses that need rebuilt after being smashed to bits by those damned dragons. Well, haven't you noticed there's a war going on here? Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I have no time for chit-chat. Take a look around. This ain't hospitable lands. Without shelter, people will die. Damn it all, there's not a single sturdy log left in all the highlands. Why, this is... I've never seen wood like this. Where in the name of the 12 did you find these? I think lumber of this quality can be found in these lands. Why, I'll not forget this kindness, friend. These trees will save lives. Those trees will save lives? You bet they will, little missy. Speaking of which, whom do I have the pleasure of addressing? My name matters not. I am just a humble botanist, and nothing more. I would bid you speak to my colleague Riatulian at the Timber Lord's Lodge. He will see that you never want for lumber. I don't know who you are, miss, but I am glad we met. The gods are truly watching over us today. Should we go for a walk, Eorzea? When Yanni suggested I travel to Corthus, I had not the slightest idea what she had in mind. The moment I laid eyes on this forest, I remembered. This was your intent, was it not, Eorzea? You, Yanni, Ritulian. Your gentle concern for my faltering heart is not lost on me, nor is the meaning of this forest. The trees themselves speak volumes. The seeds, the art of botany, the love and reverence for nature that we brought to Ishgard have taken root in the lands and the hearts of the people, and grown strong, strong indeed. As strong as the majestic spruces that once more graced these snow-swept highlands. The spruce that will now provide shelter and comfort to those who have been ravaged by war. Like the Twelves would, this forest has suffered greatly in the times of strife. Yet this forest has strength. A strength that has been harbored since time immemorial, and one it shares with us. A strength that goes beyond logs we harvest or herbs we gather. I must never forget the lessons I have learned here today. On the contrary, I must share what I have discovered here, and hope that I might take root again in the hearts of our countrymen. Let us return to Gridania, Eorzea. The Twelveswood is calling us home. Purely because I don't know which this one is. We're gonna go do this one real quick. If we can make it over there in time. Because I don't think I've harvested this one. There are a lot of these time nodes, especially for Botanist. I feel like Botanist has a lot more of them than Miner. I haven't like done a full tally or anything like that, but it just definitely seems that way. Well, what we kind of can do is sort of tally. Let's see. Botanist gets seeds for one thing, so that's just more harvest off the bat just for having seeds. So if we look at... I've already completed it, so I can't do it quite that way. Let's see. And Miner... No, hold on, I can wait a minute. See, this is new. I might only have 5 Eorzea minutes to harvest this thing, so I gotta hustle. Like chop, 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 chop. What does that make? Species of material. Oh, not really much. Spirit bond potions, I suppose, would be the best thing here. Oh, this wand is cool, though. Oh, I love it. Look at it. It's a conjurer one, too. Oh, we're getting this. Look at this thing. Love his little arms. He's like, yeah. So, how do you make this? Oh, this isn't even that difficult to make. I have this. Or I can get it, I think. This I'd have to craft, I believe. Trillium bulb. That's a flower. I think I've seen this. No, but I can find it there. And the quicksilver, obviously that's an easy one to make. Yeah, we can make this. That's going to be an amazing glamour for a white mage. Cool, I'm glad we stopped in for the vampire plant. Worth it. Doing good, we're doing good. Do you think the vampire plant's allergic to garlic? I feel like that would make sense. Do you hear, Eorzea? The leaves whisper to us, welcoming us home. To think that I almost turned my back on them forever. The battles rage on, and the forest will not go unscathed. Gridani and Ixal hack away at innocent branches and uproot flowers and shrubs for their own self-seeking causes. The sadness, the powerlessness is at times too great to bear. And yet, if I were to walk away, who would tend to the wounded forest in my stead? There is only so much that a lone botanist can accomplish, and yet every seed that is planted, every tree that takes root, brings us one step closer to a future where we live in harmony with the forest. In my pain and frustration, my eyes have been blinded to this truth. Thanks to you and Yanni and Riatulian, I see again. Rest easy, Eorzea. I will remain here at the Growery. How could I not? The forest needs every friend it can muster in these dark times, and it would seem I still have much to learn. I would be honored to continue to walk the path of the botanist with you, not as a guild master and apprentice, but as peers, fellow shepherds of the forest. Be you ever safe in your travels. Again, I do still love this hat. It is not as funny as the miner hat, but it is quite funny. But I could carry you, Frodo. Gonna take the money. There are better hats. Okay, so that is Botanist up to ARR. So we've cleared that now. Got that nifty little axe, which will be quite cool. But we are not idle there, friends. We have one more that we're definitely going to do, and then we'll see where the time's at after that. So that is... Oh, sorry. We have two more. Forgot the most difficult one to do, to be honest. So, Limsa Laminsa. This one took easily the longest. Full disclosure, I harvested absolutely everything in the botany and mining thing. I've been sourcing mostly my own ingredients, actually. Which has been a unique experience. Some of that's not necessarily been by choice, but I will say it has been appreciated. So being on a slightly underpopulated server, right, it does mean that there are less things available than what I'm used to. So it's been kind of nice to go in and have to actually, like, manually gather stuff. Like, it forces me to essentially do it correctly. Or, I suppose do it as intended. Correctly seems awfully judgmental. But you can't just bypass your way by buying stuff as easily when things are prohibitively expensive. We have a house now, but we still have to pay off our mortgage, so... Gotta work on that. But anyway, back to Sisyphus. You might recall Chuchurun, the babbling, spewing fish connoisseur. Perhaps not, but he certainly recalls you. Apparently there aren't enough fish in the sea, so he set his sights on freshwater fish. He's even tried catching them himself, though that's proved problematic so far. While Kirin possess a healthy appetite for fish, they lack the necessary patience, and often end up eating their own baits. Oh, that's lovely. The problem has a relatively straightforward solution, employing a lure in place of live baits. Unfortunately, this straightforward solution requires a roundabout demonstration, as Chuchurun does not readily accept the concept of inedible bait. If only you might snag 5 warm-water trouts with crowflies, he might come to see the light. The fish are said to populate the shores of Oakwood and Upper Lenosia. Though I can't say I've been recently, I consider it inauspicious to cast one's line under the watchful gaze of giant sea serpents. That's fair, yeah. Oh. You know what? Yes, take that one. The calamity really knocked the wind out of the fishing industry's sails, but fisherfolk are starting to return to the seas once more. It's time I did the same. But before I can put out to sea again, I had to have a new boat built. Our guild has always commissioned Aldic and Valmelia for its crafts, but they are beastly busy these days. If you want for something to do, mayhap you could run over to Armorer's Guild to consult with Forge Master Hansa in my stead. I would know how long we might expect to have to wait. That's just a green quest, meaning it's just for lore, basically. How can Ursa bait fish without bait? Like this. You truly fish trout using fake food? Indeed, for all the fish know, the lure might as well be alive. Ursa skillfully used them to catch these tasties, you see, Tutoroon. Deception lies in the heart of fishing. Yes, yes, lie lies in the heart of fishing. Tutoroon no fool. Tutoroon fool fish. Precisely. Well, I trust that we've managed to lure, guide you to the path of self-sufficient fishing. I just love how, like, every time you're looking at Kieran, like, I don't have anxiety, but I feel like if I did, this would bother the shit out of me. Like, look at him. They look like chihuahuas. That's what they remind me of.
Oh, yeah, no.
They're just, like, they're just always shaking. Always. Just violently enraged. It's hilarious to me. Anyway, moving on. You're familiar with the Culinarians Guild, aren't you, Ursa? If you couldn't tell by the supercilious name, their members are a finicky bunch, particularly the fussy Master Lingsith. So when he comes asking for shadow catfish, no other fish will do, even if I kindly explain that fishing one out involves an arduous journey to foreground float, followed by grueling labor. Naturally, I thought of you for the task. I will likely require a bit of fish wheeling, if you know what I mean. Though I imagine you do not, as I just invented the word. It means recasting a fish you've caught as bait for a yet larger fish. In my wisdom, I have deemed that your fishing prowess, land-faring acumen, and physical presence directly in front of me qualify you as the ideal candidate for... I love how pragmatic Lalafellan culture is. Your physical presence right in front of me. That was the main thing for her. It's just like, listen, you've gotten pretty good, but also you're the only one here, so go fish this thing. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I have no doubts that you'll be amply capable of fish wheeling or any other new terms I see fit to conjure up for that matter. Simply use crayfish balls to catch a striped goby, and then recast to catch the shadow catfish. Take it from the inventor of fish wheeling, since the striped goby will become your lure, you'll want to catch the biggest, shiniest one you can find. A long journey lies ahead of you, and I fear the guild will not be the same in your absence. However, I choose to think of it not as losing a friend, but gaining a shadow catfish. Good luck. Wow. That is quite funny. So shadow catfish I actually caught pretty early on because I had a Grand Company turn in that was a shadow catfish, and I remembered because of how much of a pain in the ass this was last time I did this, like 10 years ago. I was like, oh, if I have to catch one of these fuckers, I'm catching two. I'm catching two. So I stayed out there and waited until I caught two. You find the catfish oh, I don't read that part. That's why I have one in my chest for forever. You guys might have even seen it when I'm doing inventory management. It has been in there for a long time. Lingsith thought to crack a smile when he glimpses this beauty. They say never to look a gift fish in the mouth, but one can't help but stare at the gaping grimace. It looks like I could swallow a person whole. I'm sure the fish of Gridania are none too displeased to see this one leave the water. I heard the Eorzea cover the fish too, sometimes migrating north and attacking fishermen in hopes of stealing the catch. Suppose I should have warned you about that ahead of time. That would have been great, yeah, thank you. Still, I don't see what all the fuss is about. For all the links one need travel and dangers one need brave, the fish tastes like better than mud. That's not how you cook it. Psh, pardon me, but perhaps I might persuade you to prepare them in a proper bath. Water washes off the waste you can wipe away, but the invisible vapors only vanish with vinegar. You must mind the mud you can't see. Speaking of the mud you can't see, where did you come from all of a sudden? A good guildmaster gusts in and out on a gale. Now you see me, now you don't. Actually, I think we both still see you standing right there. But that is neither here nor there. Eorzea, there are a few fishermen who could haul in the catch you did today. Frankly, I've started to wonder how we ever got along without you. Thumbs up. I love his hat. If his hat is the quest here, I might break my rule and skip the money to get his hat. It's an adorable hat. The catfish you fetched for Linksith has raised quite a stir. He was so pleased with the quality and the quickness of the delivery that he's been raving about you to everyone in earshot. And now the word swirling around Limsa Lemensa of a fabled fisherman has reached the ears of your fellow guildmates. Though most of them have no idea who you are, it doesn't stop the lazy sunbathers from fabricating folk stories about you. Meanwhile, Chucharoom's done his part to add to your fame, singing your praises well beyond the walls of the guild. So, well beyond the walls, in fact, that goblins have come to enlist your help. Toctix is a friend of Chucharoom's, so we're somewhat obliged to hear him out, though I don't expect him to be much more intelligible. Though I am to admit it, we'll most likely need Wabalugo again. I love that the canon is just that he's so drunk he can understand gibberish. Chucharoon told many glory tales of mighty fisher-bringer to Toctix. Toctix is friend, Chucharoon is friend. Fishbringer is friendly friend, yes? Moon was shining on easter seas of Losnosia when most lovely fish appeared. Toctix wonder if friendly Fishbringer can bring back lovely fish from Moonsea. I love that this character was created undoubtedly, like completely 100% for sure, created before TikTok, but his name is Toctic, which is very funny. So a goblin gets a glimpse of some gills, and I'm to guess the game. Naturally, I know what you need to net. I'm only surprised you saw fit to solicit my support. The moment you mentioned the moon on the eastern seas of Nocia, I figured out the frisky fish you're fixing to fetch. Full moon sardines. Schools of shiplings migrate under moonlight through the Strait of Molthor, to return to their mothers, or meet their makers. Tastiest time to take them, too. Pluck them and plumb to their prime. From dusk to dawn, droves dip and dive down Bloodshore. Spinning spoonworms in the water will snag you some sardines and sate your sponsor. I feel like it's like I'm running a marathon with this alliteration. Like I'm winded by the time I'm done talking. Okay. These are courtesy of my wife, by the way. This is the one thing I was saying I cheated on. But she gave me these. These are annoying to catch and time sensitive besides. And 10 fish a moonful is for TikToks. Toctics. Yes, Fishbringer has brought lovely fish from Moonsea. First eye catch of lovely fish is still fresh in braincase of Toctix. Toctix has dreamings of to taste lovely fish. Friendly Fishbringer has made true Toctix big dreams. Glory tales of Chucharoon are no silly babble. Fishbringer is Fishbringer of fairy legends. Toctix makes sure every gobby knows Fishbringer fairy legend. Yeah, I'm glad that one's over with. Congratulations, Fishbringer. Fame with fast trading goblins is liable to bring you fortune. Although you might want to find a less pungent title so as not to drive away other prospective patrons. But what's in a title? That which we call a Fishbringer by any other name would smell as sweet. Ooh, what's that? I'm familiar with that achievement. Let's look here. Complete the... Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. Okay. This is the watch list. I wonder if I'm going to get one for 50, because that's we're encroaching on 50. I knew there was one for these. Just didn't know there was one for the other. That's kind of cool, though. Disciple Seeker of Skill. Does this include the... Yes, it does! Well, look at us go. Doing a thing. Look at us. Alright. Your goblin-friendly friend was looking for you earlier. He was hoping you'd make his fishiest fancies come true. He called the dish that tickled his fancy some years ago, and now needs you to procure the necessary fish for him. This desert catfish, as it's apparently called, is indigenous to, and this is to the truly mind-boggling part, the desert of all places. Toctix spoke of a trapper named Ugoro Muli, who'd fished one out of the Forgotten Springs in the southern reaches of Thadlin. If you want that catfish, you'd best go and speak with her. So that'll definitely be a Makote of the U tribe specifically, which makes sense because we are going to the U tribe. We met the I cannot remember the title, the Dawn of that tribe. It's not Dawn, it's something similar to that though. Yeah, there he is. This is his little house. Kenalua, there he is. The Nun. There you go. So he is the essentially the chief of this tribe, right? That's why he's the Nun. There's only one Nun. There might be a Tia. Yes, there is. Okay, so this is a Tia. This is almost certainly a member of his direct bloodline. Again, male Makote, extremely rare. Does not happen often. So a Nun would be the essentially the master, the one who make more cat people with all the abundance of female cat people, for lack of a more subtle way of phrasing that. He must have a very large tribe, and we know in fact that he does, because he actually has 2 Tias here, which is pretty unusual. But you'll notice there are several females everywhere. So they do most of the hunting, and he just kind of hangs out in there, not unlike lions. So, little fun fact there for you. Friend of Toctics, you say? Sure, Dunefish my fair share of catfish. Never eat them, though. Know that much. Only ever use them as sandworm bait. Thought of eating a desert catfish hadn't occurred to me until the goblin devoured it before my eyes. Still wouldn't touch them myself. Different fish for different folk, as they say. No problem fishing them out, though. Can even tell you how it's done. Just come down to the right bait in the right place. Nothing to it, really. Easy as dropping a line with some sand leeches at the fishing hole east of Braggart Strike, near the Emulsion encampment. Not the same as sea fishing here in the dunes, mind you. Real test if you're real out there. Trick is to hold on when it flails. Only takes one to make a day's haul. Good hunting. So they must be quite large then. Yeah, so this is the U tribe. We encounter a couple of other tribes, most notably in my memory would be the M tribe in Stormblood. But I'm excited to meet even more. My wife is a Makote, and I'm willing to bet that she did not know any of what I was just saying because she looked a little confused about it. So, Fishbringer find tasty fresh fish cat in sandy lines for friendly friend TikTok ticks. Oof. Oof, that's a mouthful. Toctics is Thanksgiving to Fishbringer for lip-smacking Fishcat. Fishcat nose strings make for strengthful satchel strands. Toctics trade tongue flaps with Linksith for fancy cooking of Fishcat and Bismarck. Linksith only fancy cooks after shoplock because of strengthful Fishcat odor. Fishbringer make Toctics one happy gobby. I'm just going to read this and just not pretend to understand it. That's what I'm going to do. I think that'll be easier for everybody involved. If I just try not to translate it and I just read it verbatim. Future scholars will ponder what the fuck it is he said. They will not be me. Just the fish I was hoping to see. Uncanny timing as always. The celebrity you've achieved has resulted in more obscure requests than I know what to do with. Your dune fishing escapades in particular have raised eyebrows. The truly eccentric requests I've seen fit to turn away, but who can say no to the Broguer Consortium? I, for one, cannot, but perhaps she'll have something else to say when you speak with Sable. She's waiting for you outside the guild. Have to know who the fuck they were to turn them down. Ah, Ursa, I take it. The legend said you were rugged, but failed to mention how delectable you are as well. Oh, well, hello. I have no doubt that our time together will be advantageous to both of us. I wonder what would happen if I were a male character, or a female character. To business, then. I want you to bring me rain collars from Gridania's Jadeite flood. However, there's a catch to this catch. The rain collars spend most of their time lying dormant on the bed of the water, active only when the rain comes out. Keep an eye on the skies. You'll need the fish to be aroused, so that they'll bite the baits. Stem borers are the most effective, or so I am told. As to why you want them, well, the fish are prized by wealthy Uldens for certain properties. and it is the custom of the Brugere Consortium to fulfill unconventional needs and desires. 5 rain collars are all we require to satisfy the aristocrats' needs. Presumably that is some sort of male enhancement product that we are essentially providing for this person. I knew you were the right lad for the job. Who else could deliver such rare and virile specimens? These will suit the Oldon's purposes quite well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was right. The elder males have been led to believe that ingesting the rain collars will endow them with, let us say, vigor. No one knows whether it is true, and I don't personally care to find out. They are blue. I only know that rich men will stop at nothing to recapture their former glory, and so these fish should fetch a fair price at market. Pragmatic, I like it. Speaking of fetching, I'm quite impressed with your handiwork, Eorzea. The Consortium will be pleased. Of course, you please more than just the Consortium. I look forward to seeing more of you. Pish posh, darling. Pish posh. Oh, so you haven't forgotten the Old Fisherman's Guild. Good to see all the prestige and glamour that accompanies fishing stardom hasn't gone to your head. It's a wonder your head hasn't popped with all the sardines and catfish fables inflating your legends to prodigious proportions. And to think I knew you when you were still dredging anchovies out of the muck. Rest assured that whatever greatness you go on to achieve, you'll always be the sorry scrap of kelp that floated into the guild one fateful day, as far as I'm concerned. Now, go and speak with Sybil and see to her request. Didn't you notice her waiting outside? And she's back. Ah, Eorzea, the libidinous lords of Uldar were terribly excited by the rain collars you reeled in, sending our profits soaring accordingly. And so I came to lay yet another challenge before you. You have conquered the waves and dunes, but what of the clouds? Only you are heavenly enough to fish the cloud cutters that swim the low skies of Ishgard within the sea of clouds. I too doubted my ears upon hearing of such a fish, but Carvelian's resolve is adamant. Carvelian? Oh, that's who runs this. Okay. That does make more sense. And he will hear no protests. Besides, I have never been one to say no. That's her phrasing. Interesting. Luckily for us, the Brugere Consortium has friends in high places, namely the Highlands of Corvus. You'll want to seek out Firminant at the White Brim front. He will tell you all you need to know. Confident you will prevail on your request, I will have rendered full payment to Sisyphus in advance. You need only bring her 5 cloud collars to satisfy me. I will tell you, the fish after these was ridiculous. It's like a double mooch. You have to mooch and then mooch again. And since I don't have access to some of the skills that make that much easier, like for example mooch 2, which will allow you to mooch on even regular fish at a higher cost, or just a cost I suppose, it was much harder to be able to do this. Took a while, but we got him. Got him. Yeah, that's him right there. Don't descent him. I would cry. Oh. This is so far. Okay, here we are. Greetings, traveler. Visitors from Limsa are rare at these climes. I am told you seek the fish, the magnificent cloud cutters that grace the sea of clouds. As squires, we practice catching our dinner, but the task is trying for even the most experienced among us. How one unaccustomed to the chore might hope to succeed where so many accomplished fishermen have failed is beyond me, but mine is not to stand in the way of foolhardy endeavors. The fish float upon the inflating pockets of vapor, allowing them to ride the currents of air. They are thus able to escape predators and take refuge in the clouds. Moreover, an aerial fish requires an aerial worm, in this case hoverworms. Such is the extent of the knowledge that I will confer to you. I fear the remainder is a matter of experience and skill. I shall wish you good luck. You will surely need it. And return you back. Boom. Fisherman's Guild. Fisherman's Guild. Go. So you're to pluck 5 cow. Oh, don't need to read these. We talked about this. The Flayable Cloud Cutters. Turns out they want birds after all. Just like jellyfish, they jump, jerk, and jolt to jiggle themselves up. Speaking of things that float around aimlessly, Ishgardians consider the Cloud Cutter a crest of class and character. I confer them to commemorate and congratulate countrymen who commit conduct a cut above the clouds, if you will. I won't, but what use would it be to Carvelian? Local lore alleges that the legendary Eluzen in the Minster is actually an Ishgardian lord. I wonder what you'd do if it were Carvelian. Wow. That's pretty fucking cool. Because that is maybe a joke, or maybe just very excellent foreshadowing for custom deliveries that happen 8 years after this dialogue was written. So, good job. I would do what I'm going to do anyway. Deliver fish. Maybe he knows. I don't know. That's just interesting. I was not expecting that from him. Okay. It does come with his hat. That's going to be hard to pass up. Pants I don't really care about. Yeah, we're going to have to go with the hat. I'm going to have to go with the hat. I can't not go with the hat. Hang on, let's see, man. What's the hat looking like on me? Yeah, we got to get the hat. There's just no other options. So, sorry. Sorry. This might actually be better than the rod I'm using. Yeah. A little bit. A little bit, not much. God, this is unbelievable. According to the age-old adage, when the going gets tough, the tough go fishing. Unfortunately, the adage is of so little use when the tough going happens to be a fishing ban. You haven't heard, have you? Eorzea Slafersrun has closed all docks and ports for fishing vessels on the authority of Admiral Meroweb. Some sorry sailor supposedly spotted a serpent at sea, and so Slafersrun stated that, for our safety, all our services must cease. It's so frustrating. Well, we must be a group of sedentary fishers, but we're not about to take that sitting down. One sec. First, we need to know what we're up against. The Brigade Consortium Mountains tied to the Maelstrom. Oh. This quest is all full of interruptions. So, Sybil may know something we do not. It is time to go fishing for information. It's certainly a pleasure to see you again, though I wish it were under happier circumstances. The news came as a shock to us as well. Any Limosan who's ever boarded a boat has heard the tale, back when the world was not but a dry, lifeless rock. Limlayan created a giant serpent. From its massive maw, the creature spat forth water until the land was filled. But it would not stop. To prevent the world from being completely submerged, the navigator trapped the serpent in a floating island with the warning that if it were ever to be freed, the seas would rise until the world ended. This is where this is from where the thalassocratic motto "Till sea swallows all" comes. You can imagine the admiral's surprise upon learning a sailor claims to actually have seen the serpent in question. While you and I may recognize it as a fairy tale aimed to scare children, the panic in the street seems real. And so Slafferspan hasn't any choice but to take the drastic measure in order to maintain the peace. Regrettably, those drastic measures have dire consequences for both your guild and my consortium. And the Maelstrom is too occupied with the ship inaugurations to conduct a proper inquiry, meaning our only hope is to take matters into our own firm yet supple hands. It may be impossible to prove the sea serpent does not exist, but perhaps the testimony of the eyewitnesses could be impugned. I believe you have met the sailor responsible for the sighting, the one known as Tucharoon? Oh my god. They let this thing shut down the entirety of a dock city. Tucharoon see big fish at sea. Some say sea serpent. Tucharoon just want fish to fish. See fisherman Wawalago about fishing fish at sea. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. It's very loud everywhere. There's noise in the kitchen. There's noise in the room. I've seen enough at sea to know when sailors are seeing things, and what Tucharoon saw was no sea serpent for sure. Missing your mark will make mountains out of molehills, distances to seethe and delude the minds of men at sea. My money says your serpent is a Mesalia marlin, a fairly big fish, by no means a monster. You can see them barreling back and forth along the north of Bloodshore. But if spied from the shore, people will shrug their shoulders. You need to make them meet the marlin up close and personal. I'll admit it's easier expressed than executed. I've never nabbed one. If you don't loosen up your line, they'll rip your rod right out of your hands. But first you'll need the bite. They won't waste their breath on worms from other waters. Meselian marlin demand mooching, more familiar to you as fish wheeling, perhaps. It's not just any mean act of mooching, but the daunting duty of the dramatic double mooch. I reckon you're ready for it. Get a goby ball and haul in a harbor herring. Once you've hit your herring, offer it up to an ogre barracuda. Then bait the beast to make the Moslin marlin bite. Makes me want to sail out myself, but Swavison would slay any guildmaster who slights him. Besides, I'm sure Sisypoo would sooner see you succeed at it. Oh, not there. Okay. That's the marlin. I can see how some might mistake it for a monster. Hopefully Slavison will see it the same. Come, Sybil, arrange for us to speak with the Grand Storm Marshal. This guy has a fascinating history, by the way. So many moons has it been, I can scarcely remember the last time I boarded a merchant ship for anything other than an inspection. Quite a comfortable indeed aboard the luxurious fleet of the Brigadier Consortium. No doubt to put crooked mongers and traffickers at ease while making illicit deals at sea. Perish the thought, we would never dream of calling Grand Storm Marshal to a vessel where such roguery took place. A shame. I'd imagine these sorts of vessels were the most fun. I suppose we'd best tend to business. Of course, sir. Allow me to introduce to you the Mesalia marlin. Great Lemelia's ghost! The blurry thing's massive! However did you catch it? With a great deal of time, sir. Though I suppose that doesn't matter at any rate. It is your contention that the marlin is our sea serpent? You can sing yourself to sleep with that silly sea serpent story, but it still won't hold water. I know things were proceeding too smoothly. You always know just the wrong time to act as guildmaster, don't you? Never you mind. I've known Wabalago a long time enough to mind his manners. Unlike his fish, I know that when I'm being baited. Boy, you've been baiting and bullying us with your ban. Will you let up and lift it? Fine question. To lift the fishing ban or to not lift the fishing ban? What to do? What to do? What to do? On one hand, I could lift the ban, but on the other... Now who's the one baiting? True. Why not? Of course, there are formalities we must observe, so I'm afraid the declaration will have to wait until the morrow. And the ban will be lifted, won't it? Unless you prefer it won't. By no means, it's just I feared that simply bringing you a large fish might fail to serve as adequate evidence in overturning a former military promulgation. Well, I never really all the sea serpent silliness in the first place. It was more about putting the Limosans' minds at ease than anything else, and the marlin you've brought should accomplish that. A few of our more paranoid conspiracy theorists in the Maelstrom allege the serpent to be part of an elaborate Sahagin plot, so this should make for a nice laugh at their expense as well. And to think this all started because someone spotted a large fish. And because fish tails are wont to grow in size, a large fish became a serpent-sized, and then ceased to be a fish altogether. It makes you wonder about what other sorts of overblown fancies we've all been led to believe. It sounds like you were ready to lift the ban whether we brought you the marlin or not. If only but that simple. A fine grand storm marshal I would be if I went lifting bans willy-nilly without any evidence. The problem had been solved. This marlin is essentially an assuaging the irrational fears of the public. Well, then I suppose those efforts weren't for naught after all. I only wonder how the fish tail grew out of a proportion in the first place. I don't derive a delight in the details, but the deed might have been my doing. Why am I not surprised? When I mentioned to Tucharoon that the Mazelia marlin was a monster, I meant it metaphorically, but mayhap he misunderstood? I think it would be best if, in the interest of all involved, I didn't hear any more of this story. The Maelstrom expresses its gratitude for your efforts in bringing us this evidence to light. Your guild will be notified when the fishing ban is formally lifted. I bid you good day. She's just gonna kick him. She's just gonna Charlie Brown him right in the head. Terrifying to think that a little exaggeration can get out of hand, particularly when you consider how often fishermen exaggerate. But it sounds like Slothfishman knew something was fishy all along. Nevertheless, you saved our guild from destruction at the hands of an imaginary sea serpent. Funny how Nimbaluka delivered you to our doorstep just when we needed you the most. And I certainly can't consider you a guppy anymore, now that you've caught a marlin the guildmaster himself never quite reeled in. I'd say we name you Guildmaster, but then Wabaluga would have nothing to dodge. I'm not ready to let that fish off the hook so easily. But I suppose we could at least let him know he has a rival. That might be your finest fishing accomplishment of all. Luring Wabaligo back to work. Give it up, 7,500 for some glam. Yeah, got to. For the glams, though. That is it for Fisher. Completed fishing quest. Got ourselves a nice new rod here. What is this? This is interesting because this wasn't here before. Quite a lot of baits though, which is kind of nice. Okay. Well, that's it for them. So one more trick up our sleeve. Level 20, so we would have... Yeah, we should have time. Just debating, because we definitely got all the gathering ones done, but I definitely wanted to get at least one of these to 50, so that I could unlock something that I'd like to start working on. And I can't get any of the other ones to 50 off stream either, so... It's a bit complicated. We're going to make it work. I'm just going to only have Goldsmith for scripts, so Goldsmith is probably going to get, like... ludicrously out-leveled, which is fine. We'll work with it. Indubitably. Ursa, oh gods, you should have seen. It was glorious. A golden brown apple tart, freshly baked by a Bismarck-trained chef. I was saving it for an afternoon snack, but the moment I turned my back, that little terror ate it. Gigi ate it. Mammoths can't even taste food, and then he had the nerve to criticize my diet. saying it would lead to further deviation from conventional standards of beauty. Gods, I just... Pardon my outburst, that's not why you're here. Keeping your skills sharp, I trust. You know, it occurs to me that in the past 2 tasks I gave you weren't proper lessons. How about I teach you something new? What do you know about materia? Wait, don't answer that. Even if you're familiar with it, 'tis my duty as guildmaster to instruct you in its applications to our craft. So let's review the basics. Materia are special crystals that you can use to enhance the properties of items. Now, attaching these crystals requires an artisan's touch. So for this lesson, I want you to attach the materia to an item. Not any item, mind you, but a staghorn staff, which I would have you craft yourself. This particular staff may prove difficult to construct, if only because the requisite horns must be cut from antelopes, which are not native to Thanalan. If you wish to purchase some, you might have some luck searching over at Sapphire Avenue Exchange. If that doesn't yield what you seek, a trip to Gradonia may be in order. There's numerous types of materia out there, but it's entirely up to you what you use. I'm only concerned with your ability to attach it, after all. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important part. If all this talk of materia makes absolutely no sense, you could go to Central Thanalan and learn from Master Mutamex himself. Though, to be honest, I don't understand a word he said. No questions? Splendid. Off you go, Eorzea. Okay. Oh. Say, I had this. Remove. And remove. One thing I always like is whenever you craft something... Oh, they all went into my armory chest. Well, that's fine. How goes your endeavor to attach the materia, Eorzea? Whenever you craft something in this game, it shows your name on the very bottom there, which is pretty cool. The crystallized essence of past experience, so easily inherited. This is all rather silly. Why would it be not more simple to attach materia directly to self? Gigi would be glad to try inserting crystal into Greenhorn's skull. No, bad Gigi. This is not how materia works. Oh, please don't misunderstand him, Eorzea. I'm certain that he means well. As for your staff, it's very well made, and the materia is perfectly melded. Nicely done. Perhaps you're wondering who would prefer a staff with a headpiece of bone over one with studded jewels? Well, the thaumaturges favor such equipment. Fangs and horns are the weapons of beasts, used to kill and defend. Few materials are better suited for these, for channeling the dark arts, or so I understand. I'm the furthest thing there is from a trained thaumaturge, but even I can sense the arcane magics residing within this staff. Anyway, I trust you've learned something today about the importance of searching the markets and how to handle materia. I hope this knowledge serves you well in your future endeavors. I actually just crafted some random shit that I pulled off of my other gear, but sure. Markets. Oh, Eorzea, I was just hoping that you would come by. You see, something's happened to Gigi. Recently, he started acting strangely, even by his usual standards. Anyway, I believe I've determined the cause. It's quite complicated, but to put it simply, he's breaking down. I can handle the repairs, but I need to count on you for something. I need you to make an ingot of silver. Not any ingot of silver, mind you, but a high-quality one. It may seem daunting, but I have every confidence that you can handle the task. This is perfect, Eorzea. I can fix Gigi with this, I'm sure of it. Silver ingot, forced to accept aid from Greenhorn. So humiliating. Poor, poor Gigi. He's like a completely different person. What? Not that different from usual, you say? Well, it may seem that way to you, but I can assure you he's quite out of sorts. Anyway, silver was historically prized for its beauty. Ancient peoples even believed it to possess magical properties. Although they did not completely understand the natural processes involved, they were in fact correct. It's difficult to explain to someone without an extensive background in the relevant fields, but let's just say that silver is really, really good at channeling aether. For this reason, silver is the material of choice for making a mammoth's precision parts. Thankfully, the component responsible for Gigi's erratic behavior is within my ability to craft. But God forbid that his core should ever be damaged. Oh, the core? It's like, well, everything that makes Gigi himself. His memories, his personality, his soul, really. When he was first built over a century ago, he knew nothing. But by assisting guildmaster after guildmaster, he's come to possess more wisdom and experience than any living goldsmith. That knowledge and that gentle soul that carries it are Guild's greatest treasures. Huh. I take it you didn't realize how irreplaceable he is. Believe me, it's been a great comfort having him around. And thanks to you, we can continue to rely on his counsel. I love his little pom-pom. Okay. Alright, so something awful has happened. It's Jeezy. Instead of behaving better, he's actually getting worse. A traveling merchant was here not a bit ago to discuss potential contract with us. In the midst of negotiation, Gigi commented on the man's jewelry, claiming such tawdry baubles are beneath even a Limousin whore. Unsurprisingly, the man became quite upset and stormed off. Our members understand that Gigi can be a harsh critic, but this foreign gentleman of Roratoran was visiting us for the first time. If it were a guild member, we might have overlooked the incident, but he has a potential business partner. Gods, this is a disaster for the guild. We must make it up to him. Can you help me, Eorzea? Before Gigi offended him, he was discussing a bulk order of malachite earrings. By way of apology, I'd like you to gift the Roratan a pair of these. The finest we can craft. If the gods are good, he will forgive us the incident. You're one of our best, so I'd like you to craft the earrings. When they are ready, please present them for me for inspection. Such rich, vibrant greens. Even I couldn't have done a better job of cutting the stones. Despite being relatively commonplace, malachite is quite sought after, owing to its supposed power to ward off evil. Pieces bearing swirls that resemble the eye are especially popular. Superstitions notwithstanding, it does indeed have some mild thaumaturgical properties. I must say, I think you've really outdone yourself, Eorzea. I pray Roratoran will feel the same. Much as I'd like to apologize in person, I'm not sure he'd be willing to hear me out. So, would you deliver these earrings? Before he left, Roratoran mentioned that he had business to conduct at Ruby Road Exchange. Chances are you'll find him there. Let me see that thing. Okay. Oops. Road Exchange. Which is different than the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, and I knew that. Absolutely. We cut through here faster, I bet. Mr. Smimody. Good motto. And... Lalafell. Oh god, it's not a goldsmith. Let me make myself clear. I just wanted to discuss a potential partnership. I do not know what I have done to offend your guildmaster and her assistant, but I understand that I am no longer welcome. Now please, leave me in peace. Really now, I just don't want to hear. Just leave me. By the 12, I've never seen such fine craftsmanship. For Miss Serendipity, I'm speechless. I never imagined the guildmaster would go so far as to personally craft. You are the one who crafted these? Not the fair guildmaster? The gods do indeed work in mysterious ways. I don't believe I properly introduced myself. I am Roratan, a traveling entrepreneur. I go wherever opportunity beckons, buying for Gil and selling for two. Long have I wandered the realm in search of fine accessories, as well as the talented goldsmiths who craft them. And you are precisely the sort of artisan I endeavor to meet. I would be honored if you would allow me to purchase more of your fine merchandise. Permit me to sell your wares, and we will both be wealthy in no time. Ah, but forgive my impetuousness. You are Guild Goldsmith, and I must go through the proper channels. Very well. I will meet with Serendipity at once. Please give my call to your guildmaster, and inform her that I shall contact her again to resume contract negotiations. Yeah, funny thing about merchants, they are typically, as soon as they see, like, oh, we can make money? Cool, whatever. Salted my mother? Psh. It's not always the case, but it is certainly a meme if it's not a reality. I will say, you try that shit down here in the south, a merchant's only going to sell you a bullet between the eyes to do that shit. Welcome back, Eorzea. While you were gone, I performed some basic maintenance on Gigi. I'm not sure if it fixed the problem, or if it was even a problem to begin with, but... Oh, but what about Roratan? Did you find him? This is wonderful news, Eorzea. Not only has he forgiven us, he desires a business partnership even more than before. I knew I was right to count on you, Eorzea. There's something about your work that moves people, something that touches the soul. It's a gift, and it can't be taught, much as I wish it could. No, you've always had it in you. As you grow in more skilled, you'll only become better at expressing it. I'm certain that this was part of Roriton's decision. Since we know he'll request your services when he visits next, you'd best work hard until next time he comes. I've been waiting for you, Eorzea. You remember Roriton, the merchant for whom you made the exquisite earrings? He paid a visit not long ago, hoping to find you present. In fact, he was positively heartbroken that he couldn't speak with you in person. It's hard to believe he was once so furious with us. It's as if that unfortunate incident never happened at all. But returning to the matter at hand, Roriton has commissioned you to craft a firebrand, one of peerless quality, of course. When you've finished, I must insist that I evaluate your work. It's not that I don't trust your craftsmanship, but Roriton is an important client, to say the least. Yep. Alright, Gigi, I know this is your first evaluation in a long while, but I'm sure you can handle it. Firebrand, burn, burn, make it burn them. Gigi is the one true lord of the Inferno. No, Gigi, no. What did I tell you? No fires. Please forgive him, Eorzea. I might have knocked something loose when performing maintenance earlier. But I'm certain it's nothing important, really, other than the occasional outburst. He's been relatively stable. Well, for Gigi, anyway. Ah, yes, the scepter. I must say that you've once again done a marvelous job. I'm particularly impressed by how well you set the eye of fire in the scepter. The gemstone is the focal point of the design, both aesthetically and practically speaking. It is what allows the thaumaturge to channel the ethereal energies within. And it's what transforms this piece from a common instrument of death to a stunning work of art. Any veteran thaumaturge would doubtless be satisfied by both the quality and efficacy of this firebrand. I just know Roriton would be happy to receive it. I say we give him the gift that keeps on giving. I say we give him the gift of fire! Gigi, there will be absolutely no gift-giving on my watch. Have I made myself clear? I love him. Little pyromaniac robot. You can leave the rest to me, Eorzea. I'll see that Roriton receives your firebrand. And nothing else. Kicks him. Nope. Good to see you again. You'll be pleased to know that Gigi is completely back to normal. While Roriton was here not long ago, he only had to contend with Gigi's traditional repertoire of insults. You know what I mean. I'm sure that Roriton was a hopeless fool. That he was completely devoid of artistic sensibilities, that he smelt of Roland berries, that sort of thing. Well, don't get me wrong, it was still terribly distressing, but at least there was no more talk of fires. Anyway, as for Roriton was here in the first place, he wished to commission you once more, this time for a horn staff. It goes without saying that he desires it to be of the highest quality, so please bear that in mind before you present your work for my inspection. Good luck. Did I not make a horn staff? I know I made a horn staff. Where's my horn staff? Crafted out of all goat horn. One second. What level quest are we on? 30, 40 probably. Firebrand. High level. Firebrand. Armory chest. Did I make the wrong thing? Something's in here. It has to be a high quality one. Was it not a high quality one that I made? Bone staff. I need a horn staff. Did I make a staghorn staff or something? Horn staff. I must have made the wrong staff. Well, this is fine. We have all these materials. Once you get established in crafting, at least you do always have like a complete bevy of materials nearby you. So, real quick little sojourn. I think I made the wrong staff earlier. It's my bad. Okay, we did Eye of Fire, all goat horns, and wolf fangs. one should be here. Yep. Good horns. And I have fire. Okay. So that's right. Horn staff? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Easy like Sunday morning. Let's go to Goldsmith Guild. There we go. Okay. Oh, have you finished the horn staff already? Horn staff, aha, this is Greenhorn staff. You are improving. Perhaps Greenhorn has finally outgrown his title. I must think of a more suitable one. Something that acknowledges your recent growth, but still conveys disdain for the majority of your work. That's genuinely high praise. At least, I think it is. But there is one thing that I can say with certainty. This particular commission has made it even easier than usual to evaluate your growth. After all, the firebrands you made before required you to work with many of the same materials, so this is the perfect opportunity to see how your technique has improved since then. Although both were carved from all goat horn and adorned with the Eye of Fire, I would say this staff is much more refined in comparison. The wolf fangs flaring from the tip are the coup de grace. Not only they strengthening the thaumaturgical properties of the weapon, but also improving the wielder's ability to cut an imposing figure. Why don't you deliver this commission to Rorotoan at the Ruby Road Exchange personally? It's been a while since you last met, so I'm sure he'd be happy to see you. Why don't I just... Which was Gil. The one thing I don't like about this character design change is the tail. There are no bear tails. This is the shortest a tail can be for a Rothgar, so... right past me today. Yep. Why, if it isn't Eorzea, you're a hard man to find. As it happens, had another commission for you. Mr. Serendipity has the details. Would you prefer that I tell you? You've already crafted the horn staff. Beg your pardon, I had no idea. I appreciate that you came to deliver it. I was dreading the inevitable encounter with that irrepressible mammoth. Don't misunderstand. It's not that I'm offended. On the contrary, his assessment of my abilities is harsh but fair. He reminds me that I have much and more to learn if I consider myself a connoisseur of the fine arts. And in times like this, ignorance can be fatal failing, especially if the rumors sweeping the markets are given to credence. I'm sure you have heard them as well, the talk of the Jade Fox. Aye, the legendary thief has come to Ul'dah at last. A master of disguise whose identity is a complete mystery. There is but one thing which everyone can agree, that his lust for fine jewelry is insatiable. So, you must understand why a merchant like me would feel ill at ease. There is no greater enemy to the industrious businessman than a dastardly thief who would steal his wares without compunction. You and your fellow goldsmith should take care. In fact, I would not surprise me if in the slightest, if the Jade Fox were to turn his attention toward you. Interesting. I do not remember this questline at all. So, we're getting some intrigue here. Old Jade Foxes, apparently. Serendipity. That's the 40, so there's only a couple more quests here. Welcome back, Eorzea. I hope the staff was to Rorotoan's satisfaction. Congratulations on a job well done. Oh, before you go, I've recently been informed a dangerous thief has come to Ul'dah, and that we goldsmiths might be the target of his mecha. What, you've already heard about the Jade Fox? Well, aren't we well informed? Anyway, I must urge you to be cautious with dealings with new customers. The Jade Fox may disguise himself as one tempted to defraud you. As for the guild, rest assured that I personally scrutinize anyone who seeks to commission our goldsmiths. I am an excellent judge of character. What was that? Did I just hear you snicker, Ursa? And I thought you respected your kind and lovely guildmaster. There you go. Come lend a hand, Ursa. We have a mountain of commissions to fill. It's because of the upcoming gala to celebrate the Sultana's name day. Everyone who's anyone has received an invitation, and all of them intend to be wearing the finest garments and jewelry. Some of our more popular requests have been for headwear, and that's where I'd like you to help, especially. We'll need 3 electrum circlets of the highest quality possible. One set with amber, one with spinel, and one with zircon. You can handle that, can't you? And if you're at all curious to why I'm giving you this particular commission, it's from Ruritan, your biggest fan. He's acting as the middleman for many of our transactions, you see. I knew he was ambitious, but I never expected him to rise to prominence so quickly. He's become the talk of old and high society. What with his impressive knowledge of the fine arts and his talent for obtaining anything his customers desire. Of course, what most are aware of is that his talent is largely dependent on yours. In case you've yet to realize it, it is your creations that have helped him build his reputation. You haven't let him down once, Ursa, so don't make this the first time. Be the best goldsmith you can be and bring me the circlets when you're ready. Circlet, circlet, circlet. These were actually quite easy to craft, I will say. Electrum circlets will not bore you with flattery, Greenhorn. I will simply state that you did well. I will not permit Gigi to fill your head with materia, then he will not deign to fill you with praise, paint or otherwise. That's awfully petty of you. These circlets certainly deserve more than that. Take this one set with amber. Now, amber isn't a gemstone in a traditional sense, since it's composed of fossilized resin and not a mineral. As a result, it requires different techniques to bring out its true potential. But you've managed to do just that, creating a piece which is both pleasing to the eye and beneficial to the wearer, especially one who wishes to move effectively, to more effectively channel his earth magics. Excuse me. In contrast to the natural vibrance of amber, zircon in this circlet imparts a sense of wisdom and worldliness. Of course, it also improves one's affinity with ice-aspected ether. Now that I think about it, zircon is not unlike ice, in that the presence of impurities can radically alter its appearance. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. As for the circuit set with spinel, I would say it strikes me as a symbol of confidence and power. Though perhaps I'm only saying that because I know that spinel is elementally aspected to lightning. You brought out the best in your materials and crafted 3 different yet equally magnificent circlets. I would go so far as to say you've attained a level of skill rivaling that of our best goldsmiths. All that's left for you to do is head to the Ruby Road Exchange and deliver them to Ruritan. Actually, I take that back. There is one more thing you should probably attend to. Do you remember our friend from the Sultan's Sworn, Robert? He was asking to speak with you. I must confess I am somewhat jealous of this special attention. In any case, he should be returning any moment, so perhaps you will find him outside. I have no idea what's on his mind, but you might as well speak with him before making your delivery to Ruritan. Secrets and lies, secrets and lies. That man is not more than a miserable pile of secrets and lies. Please, Gigi, show some restraint. I know you don't like Ruritan, but this is too much. You must learn to treat customers with respect. This kind of behavior is inexcusable. Don't concern yourself with him, Ursa. Pray, give my regards to Ruritan and Robert. I don't know which one of them's a Jade Fox. I'm gonna guess it's the Lalafell, but that makes me seem racist. So there you are. I'm glad that you finally found you. I understand you're helping Mistress Serendipity with some of the orders for the Sultan's name day celebration. I know you must be busy, so I'll get to the point. The Sultan's one have learned that the Jade Fox, a notorious thief, may be plotting to infiltrate the festivities and rob our distinguished guests. We will not allow this to happen, of course. However, the identity of the thief has yet to be determined. Therefore, we have decided to discreetly investigate several of our guests, including your patron, Ruritan. He has no ties to the 77 caravans or any other major trade organization. We can find no relatives, and his activities prior to his arrival in the city are unknown. We've met with this so-called merchant several times and filled numerous commissions from him, have you not? Yet I wager he has shared little, if any, personal information. Can you honestly say that you know the man? I tell you this because if he is indeed the Jade Fox, I fear you may be a part of his plans. Do not turn your back on him, Ursa. feel like that's too obvious now, though, now that he said that. And honestly, he's been setting up a serendipity for a while. It's one or the other of them, certainly. I'm nearly sure, but which one? That's the real question. Let me see here. What color are your eyes? Your eyes are green. Greetings, Essa. Always a pleasure to see you. Have you brought the circlets I commissioned? They're spectacular. Simply spectacular. The one who wear these works of art will be toast of Goldar. I guarantee it. You're more quiet than usual, Essa. Is there something troubling you? Because I so deeply respect you as an artisan. I shall be perfectly honest. I confess that I am not exactly the dedicated entrepreneur that I claim to be. The truth, I am a man besotted with the trappings of the material world. I wander the realm in search of artistic masterpieces. Not a businessman, but an altruist. Some men covet and hoard their treasures, but I would sooner share mine with my fellow man. I would go so far as to say that I consider this my sacred duty. Which is why I'm absolutely thrilled to have discovered a talented goldsmith like you. As a purveyor of luxury goods, I couldn't have asked for a better supplier. Now, I must insist that this conversation remain between us. In this city, it is unbecoming for a merchant to have any motive other than profit, you know. Ooh, that's suspicious. A Lalafell who doesn't like profit? I don't know. Seeming awful suspicious. But again, I feel like it's too obvious. But his eyes are green. And I don't recall that Robert's are. Oops, wrong one. I mean, I know it seems obvious that the Jade Fox would have to have something green on them, but ARR did not have the most complex dialogue for these side missions, so I think it probably is just as simple as that. Welcome back, Ursa. I'd asked if Rurik had improved your circlets, but I have no reason to believe he didn't. By the way, I spoke with Robert after you left. He told me this rumor that Jade Fox might target the Sultana's name day celebration. It's terrible that the rogue would even consider a royal gala. Gods, what is the world coming to? I hope Robert catches the fiend and personally teaches him a lesson. Well, let's not dwell on that, shall we? A name day should be a happy occasion. I'm sure that everything will turn out for the best. It's got to be Robert. I'm like convinced now it's Robert. We're about to find out. Yeah, I'll go with gold on that one. Oh, Ursa, good evening. Sorry, it's been a long... Wait, what day is it? I've been so busy on account of the Sultan's name day celebration that I haven't had time to get a good night's sleep, or any sleep for that matter. Don't worry about me, though. I'm fine, see? Perfectly awake, perfectly fine. But seeing you here reminds me that I have a very important commission for you. Rurik wants you to craft a ring he intends to present to the Sultana herself. That is the sort of opportunity that comes but once in a lifetime. Your jewelry might be worn by Her Royal Majesty, Nanamo ul Namo. You see, at the celebration, all the Sultana's gifts will be presented to her at once in a grand ceremony. Any guest whose gift receives a special recognition is assured great fame and fortune. Rurik is adamant that you be the one who craft his gift. He said he could only accept the work of Ul'dah's premier goldsmith. After discussing the matter at length, he decided on a flawless black pearl ring as his present. Additionally, he would like it melded with the materia as a finishing touch. I suggest you use piety materia. This would give the Sultana incentive to select it. Though we don't want to give the impression she needs it, so perhaps she should use an average grade, say 3. Given the importance of this commission, Rurik has agreed to pick it up in person, so I will contact him when you have prepared the ring. So, fun fact, this only happens in a couple of instances. Nanamo is a conjurer. They almost never talk about it. I will point it out at great length when they do, because I don't remember even when it is. It's in like an instance or something. But yeah, she is not your average person. Is the ring ready yet? Remember that you must be melded with grade 3 piety materia. Rurotan will come as soon as I contact him. And not a moment sooner. He doesn't want to risk upsetting Gigi. Poor guy. By the 12, this is fabulous. I'll let Rurotan know at once. It's more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. The color, the shape, the luster. This is a ring fit for royalty. I knew I could trust you, Eorzea. This ring will surely meet with Her Grace's approval. Stop right there, Roten. This moment's farce ends now. What is the meaning of this? Think you're clever, do you? I've seen through your lies, and I know who you are really. The Jade Fox. The Jade Fox? Roten, is this true? Have you been deceiving us all this time? I'm afraid so, my dear. But it's over now, not a moment too soon. This charlatan was plotting to rob the guests of the name day celebration, maybe even the Sultana herself. That's ridiculous. I don't even have to listen to these wild accusations. So I'm afraid I must ask you to give me that ring, as it is evidence of his crimes. It will be returned to you once this trial is complete. Oh, it is him. I knew it. You don't believe him, do you? Yes, I'm innocent, I tell you. Innocent. We'll see how long you can maintain this facade once I put you in the cell. Take him to Captain Gentlin's. Secrets and lies, secrets and lies. Takes him to death and sorrow. To Pearl Lane. Interesting. I can't believe that Roten is a Jade Fox. Can you, Gigi? Gigi, where are you? Gads, Ursa, I think he may have run off on his own. I heard him muttering something about Pearl Lane. We should try searching for him there. So yeah, I was right then. It's always the Lalafell. It's a double herring, double red herring. Da, 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 da. No, the moment he came for the ring, I was like, no, it's gotta be him. Gotta be him if he's over here for this ring. Like, what's he need with the ring? Come on. Secrets and lies, secrets and lies. Back away from the Lalafell, you cur. Well, if it isn't the Mammoth, you're an awfully long way from home. Gigi, what are you doing here? Why did you run away? Deceiver, trickster, this man is no sultan sworn. What are you saying? Robert is a Jade Fox, Mr. Serendipity. Listen to your assistant, you know this to be true. Robert, tell me it isn't so. Tell me this is all a misunderstanding. Oh, shit! Everyone take a deep breath and calm down. There's no reason this needs to end in bloodshed. Holy shit! My God, it's true. You really are the Jade Fox, aren't you? You've an overdeveloped sense of justice, little one. I'm going to get you into trouble someday. As for you and me, dear Serendipity, I think we're well past the point of introductions. Believe me when I say I'm just as disappointed as you are. I had hoped we would become more intimately acquainted before this identity outlived its usefulness. Alas, I could not bear to forsake an opportunity of this magnitude, one that Roten here was kind enough to provide. Meddlesome contraption. Son of a... I was not expecting a Lalafell ballistic missile, but that was incredible. Oh, GG. Serendipity, GG, no. You can fix him, can't you? He saved my life. Do you need money for parts? I'll pay anything. You can even sell the ring I commissioned. It's not a matter of money. I think his core might be irreparably damaged. It was made over 100 years ago with techniques that have long since been forgotten. If it has failed, then he is forever lost to us. I detest that ridiculous hairstyle. You must... Oh, man, that's so sad. So what are you doing with that ring? Wait, you can't be serious by suggesting that... Hell, he did want piety in there. Black pearl ring, gah. This is by far the worst piece of greenhorn has ever crafted. Its very existence offends me. I feel violated. So violated. Gigi, you come back to us. It's a miracle. Start him real quick. I owe you and Gigi my life. Thank you, Eorzea. Thank you. But shouldn't you return to the guild and see how Mr. Serendipity and her assistant are faring? Lalafell ballistic missile. Him pulling out that musket, that was some wild shit right there. I was not anticipating that. It was funny, but like, I was not, because I figured, you know, I mean, like, when I knew it was him, I was like, yeah, cool, he's got a sword at his hip and a shield on his back. He'll pull out a sword, sure. The musket, though. Wow. I still can't believe what has happened. First I thought Robertson was the Jade Fox, then it turned out to be Roberts. Gigi must have sensed something strange about him before. I can't help but think back to all those times he ranted about secrets and lies. I assumed he was speaking of Robertson, but now I realize he meant Roberts. Only if I had listened to him more closely to his words. That man made a fool of me, what with his dashing good looks, his piercing gaze, his broad shoulders. But we got him, Eorzea. He'll never again terrorize the people of Uldar. I'm sure you're worried about Gigi. Allow me to put your fears to rest. In spite of your reckless attempts to repair him, there was no permanent damage. Indeed, when you began fumbling around in him, his components, and attempted to shove that ring inside him, I was absolutely terrified. Thankfully, through sheer strength of will, Gigi overcame his injuries, and it is all thanks to your ring. In Gigi's eyes, your ring was so poorly wrought that it filled him with an overwhelming disgust. You reminded him of his purpose by creating focus for his grand disdain, and in so doing, you helped him to regain his senses. Isn't that wonderful, Eorzea? But that's not all I wanted to tell you. When I was examining Gigi earlier, I discovered something extraordinary. You see, he's by far the oldest mammoth we have ever, having been constructed by one of our former guildmasters over a century ago. In fact, I'm the 19th guildmaster he's assisted, according to the records. But what our records didn't contain was his original name, which was so faintly inscribed upon his core that it went unnoticed until now. Gigi is Minjing, Eorzea, the first mammoth ever built, the mammoth whose design on which all other mammoths were based. Of course, I have no intention of telling him. The knowledge would make him insufferably arrogant. Anyway, Eorzea, please accept my sincerest thanks. And though Gigi would be loath to admit it, I'm sure deep down he's grateful to you as well. Oh, in the future, please don't attempt to repair a mammoth until you have at least learned the basics of their construction. It worked. It's fine. It's fine. He's alive, kinda. And there you have it, travelers. So, we have now unlocked... did we? If I didn't, I need to look into it then. Nothing. I was thinking of crafters. We have now maybe unlocked collecting? No, I still haven't unlocked collecting. I'll have to figure out how to do that. It's level 50. I should be able to. But either way... so today we have introduced our new appearance. Again, same character, new look. New character, who dis? We are now a bear, Eorzea Bear Song. We progressed our storyline for the, all the Disciples of Land. So all three of those stories are complete up until ARR. We completed the Goldsmith storyline. And next bonus stream we'll complete at least 2 or 3. I'll probably prepare 4. With the hopes that we can get to all 4. But it takes a little while, because again, we're narrating everything. There's some running back and forth, even with pre-crafts involved. And the last thing I'm going to do is do another 7.5-hour stream, or whatever that one was. That was wild. So we're not doing that again. But this has been Eorzea Bear Song. This has been Eorzea the Literary Bear. We hope you've enjoyed this and other stories on the channel. And please let us know about the stories that mattered most to you in this game. I appreciate you. We will see you at the next campfire, travelers.